That's what Cactus was signaling, a pile driver. Oh, God. Can that, oh, my goodness. Oh, my God. For the love of God. The cage broke. The ring broke. And Cactus Jack has broken in half.
Greetings, pro wrestling fans. Thank you for joining us at the LookBack Podcast. I'm Nick, and I'm sitting here with
Kirk Angel, a.k.a. Donovan, Donovan.
It's good to have you back there, Don.
Yes, sir.
It's good to be back for another edition of the Pro Wrestling LookBack Show, new and improved under the LookBack Podcast name.
First one of the new era.
It is. I'm excited to be back. It's old school, but it's new school.
Yeah.
You know, we're bringing it back with me and you in the solo studio here, but it's new school because it's the LookBack Podcast, and like we said, it's the LookBack Podcast Show, the Pro Wrestling LookBack Podcast Show. No Way Out 2000. What a show!
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it right now before I plug anything.
I'm ready.
One of, if not my favorite pay-per-view in wrestling that we've looked back at since starting the Pro Wrestling LookBack, and now the LookBack Podcast.
Good bold statement.
It's bold, but it's true, my friend.
Yeah.
It's very true. So for all the listeners, if you don't already, go give us a follow on Instagram and Twitter at The LookBack Show. Like I said, Instagram and Twitter. If you want to give us an email, it's thelookbackshow@gmail.com. If you want to buy a t-shirt, mug, what kinds of stuff? Hoodies. I got a flag on the way. That's the next thing. Nice. I want to put one up in the studio. So if I get one out there for the listeners to buy, then we can buy one too. But check us out at teespring.com/thelookbackshow. There's all kinds of new stuff on there, mugs, t-shirts, like I said, the flag's on the way. Hit us up on iTunes, Spotify, Podbean, YouTube, and Google Play. Hit the 5 stars, we appreciate that. Leave us a comment like we always say, preferably a good one, but if not, let us know what you think of the show. If you want to follow me on Twitter, it's at Salsa, SCELSA.
And my Twitter is at JustDon44.
And the main one, like I always say, it is at The LookBack Show. So give us a follow on there and, let us know what you think of the shows. Let us know what you think of the new roundtable, the Formula One LookBack Show, the Pro Wrestling LookBack Show. But yeah, we appreciate all the downloads, all the listeners that have taken time to listen to our shows. So I think it's time for me and Donovan to dive right into it, and that is No Way Out 2000.
Oh yeah, baby.
Well, like I said, this is one of, if not my favorite look-back pay-per-view, or pay-per-view that we've looked back at.
Yeah.
And we've been doing this 2 years now, Don. We're approaching our 2-year anniversary coming up here.
True, yeah.
On Monday will technically be our 2-year anniversary. Yeah. So it's kind of a, look behind the curtain for some of the listeners here, but depending on when you're listening to this show.
I am highly caffeinated as always, and
that's how we do it.
I definitely enjoyed this pay-per-view, man. I was talking to you kind of during it. I remember I still own the VHS of this, if anyone does so.
Amazing. I wish you brought that, and I wish we watched it on there rather than on the WWE network, yeah.
In the future. I got some more.
Invasion, maybe?
Perhaps.
Possibly.
So,
either way.
Dude, I remember, this pay-per-view stands out to me as one of those. I remember buying the VHS in a Blockbuster.
See, I love that we have such different memories of this pay-per-view, because the first time I ever even thought of this pay-per-view was when me and you were trying to come up with a pay-per-view to decide to look back at next.
Yep.
And we figured, Royal Rumble's going to be over by the time this episode comes out. We're approaching, the gearing up towards WrestleMania season, and it's that time of year. Why not we do one of these pay-per-views that takes place before WrestleMania and leads right in?
Yeah.
You said, why don't we do No Way Out? Okay, good. How about 2000? Yeah, it sounds like a good year. So here we are, No Way Out 2000, and I'm happy that we stumbled upon this one because, like I said, man, incredible show. So I guess I should get out some of the stats like I normally do on the Look Back shows here. This pay-per-view took place on February 27th, 2000, the year 2000. So it's 20 years old.
Yep.
As of probably when this episode, about a week after this episode gets released. Mm-hmm. This pay-per-view is now 20 years old. So that's, quite a statement, and weird to read the words 2000 and then also think 20 years later and it's today.
Yeah.
So as we're obviously in 2020 as of this recording. But the pay-per-view took place in Hartford, Connecticut from the Hartford Civic Center. This, I believe, is, and they referred to it a little bit on the show, Kurt Angle, we'll talk about it later, but I believe this is the old arena for the Hartford Whalers hockey team.
Okay, yeah.
Before they relocated to, I think it was Carolina, or kind of were pushed out of the Hartford city. But yeah, so the attendance is a little bit smaller of a building, something you mentioned when we'll get to the intro of the show. But only 12,551 people in there, which is, don't get me wrong, still a lot of people, but just not compared to some of the bigger things that we see nowadays in 2020. The tagline of the show, I don't know if me and you talked about this, let the games begin, the road to WrestleMania continues.
Very Triple H-ish almost, with the...
Well, yeah, fitting and in perfect little segue because so was the poster. Very Triple H with his little bodybuilder flexing that we got there on the cover. I thought it was weird. I brought this up to you, and I know you said that there was kind of two versions of the pay-per-view cover, but you had Triple H doing the classic bodybuilder flex on there, but then you had half of a face of Jericho and half of a face of Triple H behind.
Yeah.
Which I thought was kind of weird because these two do not interact at all in this pay-per-view or in this show.
Yeah, I don't know if it was something where maybe there was plans for Jericho to be involved in something, or maybe how I look at it now is, we had the opening match and the closing match, which I don't know if that's a thing, but that's
I never thought of that.
Right?
No, that's it definitely was that way. Was it Jericho, we'll get to it. Jericho didn't win, but either way, no, it was the opener and the closer of the pay-per-view, so that's a good point to bring up. Yeah. I might as well get it in now. This pay-per-view, like we talked about, this leads right into WrestleMania. Yeah. WrestleMania 2000 or WrestleMania 16 for those of you, I guess, that don't refer to it as WrestleMania 2000. And I've talked about this on other shows. I'm sure anybody who's listened to probably roundtables or older look-back shows that we've done, but these types of pay-per-views are one of, if not my favorite. It's those right before WrestleMania pay-per-views because they just lead in. They make it that much more exciting to watch WrestleMania. Now I want to go watch the Raw after this and watch a month of wrestling leading up to WrestleMania 16 and find out all the things that happen post this pay-per-view. So
yeah, definitely.
It's always going to be one of those things for me. I know Fastlane is a big, not one of your favorites, but one of my favorites and one of those reasons I think why it stands out. Probably again because when I got back into it in 2015, that was the first pay-per-view I watched was Fastlane, so it led right into Mania. I don't know, probably one of those reasons.
Also with this one, I mean, I talked to you about it a little bit after we watched the show. It felt very, I couldn't really tell. Like I felt like if I was to watch this live back when it happened, I wouldn't have really known what was to come next at WrestleMania as to where in the later, maybe 2010s and onward. It's a little more. The pay-per-view before Mania doesn't mean as much in that time.
No, and you have the picture of WrestleMania is a little more set. The picture's been painted almost already at that point, whereas back then, at this point, like we'll get to within our look-back show here, we didn't really know what was going to be happening at WrestleMania or what we thought after the end of this pay-per-view isn't necessarily what we got.
Yeah, exactly.
A month and a half, I think, later, 2 months maybe, I don't know when it was. For WrestleMania 2000 or WrestleMania 16, like I said. Might as well get in a couple more stats. Like I said to you, I don't know if did I mention this already, that this was my first time watching this show.
Yes, I believe when we were...
Yeah, because I basically said that so it I don't know. It was... I didn't know about it is what I said to you earlier, and that I never really... This pay-per-view never crossed my mind. It didn't pop up in highlight YouTube videos. It wasn't one of these ones that... Oh, you got to watch No Way Out 2000 if you're a big wrestling fan. That's one of the ones that you should watch. Well, people should have been fucking telling me that because now I feel that way about this pay-per-view.
It's up there.
If I'm completely honest with you, it definitely is. So I don't know. It's one of the best eras, I think, in WWE, WWF.
Yeah,
WWF.
I think that's a good segue to kind of what I was talking to you about as well, dude. I think the year 2000 in WWF and wrestling here is up for me. I've talked about in the past. I like the 2003 kind of 2002 era, but this might be right up there for me.
Well,
the year 2000, very underrated year. I think.
Lot of this stuff sets the stages and sets the table for the bigger things that we get in 2001 and 2002.
Yeah, and it's not like it's still
and even later 2000 because this is early.
Yeah, it's still involved in the Attitude Era. Per se, in the record books, But to me, it feels different from Attitude Era, different from Ruthless Aggression Era, and it's
would
kind
be-
of its own thing.
No, I hear you. In between,
Yeah.
because the ruthless aggression era started late 2003, early 2004, I would say somewhere in there.
Yeah.
So that era in between, I know what you mean. Yeah, that year 2000, we'll get to it again, like I said earlier, with some stuff. But the Edge and Christian and the Hardy Boys setting the stage there.
The rise of tag team wrestling, the rise of Kurt Angle, Triple H,
Foley.
Rock.
Not the beginning of Foley either. I just mean the transformation of Foley in different types of characters that he went through. Like him being Cactus Jack here and not Mick Foley or not Mankind.
And a lot of the classic feuding between H and Foley or Triple H and Rock. And also what stands out to me is Austin not really being around for this entire year pretty much.
And Undertaker, as far as
Undertaker, yeah.
Which is two of the top names in the company that helped. I mean, because I want to bring it up too. Not only is it still WWF at this time, but it's still WCW.
Yep.
Is still rolling around.
Yep.
Whether they're doing extremely well, I think Thunder had probably started by this time. I don't know for sure.
Yeah, I can imagine so, yeah.
Yeah, like the Undertaker and Stone Cold were two of probably the biggest names that put them ahead of WCW, because by this point in 2000, February 27, 2000, I think WWE, WWF was handling the ratings war
definitely.
at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So Undertaker and Stone Cold not being there, I wonder how much that took of a hit on the ratings, in the ratings war. I know we still had Triple H, The Rock, Big Show, all these guys, Mick Foley, those top guys, but I'm curious if them not being there affected the ratings at all.
I mean, from what I could see from the crowd, I mean, I think these guys kind of held it down.
I think so too. Yeah. It's something to think about now as we do when we look back, on this time frame, this era, what kind of stuff was happening with two top guys like that being out of competition. I wanted to talk really quickly before we start diving into kind of the opening of the show and the first matches. Dawn was super late today, so I had lots of time to sit in and watch Monday Night Raw and SmackDown.
Nice. Yeah.
Prior to...
I caught a little bit of SmackDown.
Yeah. I had to throw a jab in there, Dawn, somewhere, But yeah, so I was able to watch a little bit of the go-home show for Monday Night Raw, as well as SmackDown, like you saw with me too. I just wanted to talk about kind of, this is like prime time Triple H, prime time The Rock. Yeah. There isn't, I don't think, in my opinion, a better time frame of these wrestlers, because you get earlier for The Rock and he's still a little young, and then you go a little later and he's kind of starting to go into the Hollywood stuff, and he's almost bigger than he can contain, if that makes any sense. You
hit the nail on the head, I think, with both of them. I totally agree with that statement.
It's a perfect time frame for these two guys, and we had that amazing promo that I'm sure anybody who's a massive wrestling fan and watched all this live remembers,
The Rock, yes.
You're Triple H, and I walk around the ring, and I say nothing, and The Rock just chirping him. It was incredible. Incredible. So that was cool to see, that famous promo. I thought DX had a pretty big crew.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was anybody that I don't know of. I think it maybe just...
It might have been the addition of Tori that kind of added to
possibly
it,
because it felt big, and Stephanie, maybe two women.
Yeah,
that's true, because you had the Outlaws, you had X-Pac, you had Tori, you had Stephanie, you had Triple H. So it's a big little crew.
Yeah.
And I noticed that at the beginning. I'm like, okay, they're not fucking around here. It's a big little crew here. But one thing I couldn't get over, and I'm just going to say it because it happened in WWE, and it doesn't matter. It's not our thoughts. But Stephanie called Triple H the big red retard. And I couldn't...
Kane.
Or Kane, yeah. Did I say Triple H?
Yeah.
Yeah, Kane, Jesus. Obviously, big red machine. And I was sitting here, shout out to our buddy Chris, because I was sitting here with him watching the show before you got here, and me and him both looked at each other like, did she just say that? And it's just, I mean, back then, obviously, it was okay, I guess, to say that kind of thing on TV, but I think just how much I've seen Stephanie in the last 5 years, to see her say something like that on TV is just jarring. So, I don't know, I wanted to bring that up. I already asked you a little bit, we talked about where's Stone Cold Steve Austin, because that was my first thought when I started watching Raw.
Yeah, so this is when he was, injured. I don't know what the exact injury was, but he was run over in storyline with a car. I think that happened at Survivor Series, actually, if I'm not mistaken.
Who did the running over? Do you remember?
Well, that remains to be seen. No, it was Rikishi and Triple H.
Was it up in the air for a while? Is that what you're kind of getting at with remains to be seen?
Yeah, we didn't find out for quite some time, or what felt like quite some time, I want to say.
Fair enough.
Because
No, I like when they do that.
Rikishi had
though.
his whole run as a good guy, as we seen throughout this pay-per-view too, where it kind of began even. And the claims that he did it for The Rock, and Triple H kind of did it for the top spot. So it was an awesome unfolding of a storyline.
I like that. They seemed. I mean, some of the story stuff we'll get to with Big Show and the Royal Rumble and the feet on the ground and that, like Kane and X-Pac. Like there was just some really good non-title, just grudge match type feud matches here at this pay-per-view. And like I said, it was one of, if not my favorite show that we've looked back at so far. I'm not going to go out on a limb and say this is my favorite pay-per-view, but as far as the LookBack Show and the LookBack Podcast and the former Pro Wrestling LookBack, this is definitely up there for me with one of those top shows.
And even for me, dude, I don't know how long it's been since I've sat back and watched this, probably fucking ages ago. So to rewatch it now and me not remembering everything and having it just kind of unfold, it was definitely, I think, even better than I remembered. As far as not talking about the main event matches, but the other stuff in between, the meat and, the side salad, I guess you could call it. Not the meat and potatoes, but
No, I know what you mean. Like, kind of maybe like the Radicals showing up there?
Yeah, man.
Somebody like that. And I wrote on my notes here when I was watching Monday Night Raw, I just wrote Radicals - Don Love.
Yeah.
I knew you'd be giving these guys some love.
Yeah.
And I'll say it now before we get to their match, but this was the first time I ever seen the Radicals as a group.
As a unit, yeah, okay.
In a full setting, not a highlight reel, not a clip, not a one match show on a DVD packed with different matches. Like to see them in a full pay-per-view setting as well as watching them on Monday Night Raw and SmackDown leading into the pay-per-view, it was really cool.
Yeah.
It was cool to see. And the only other thing I wanted to bring up about Raw before we dive into the pay-per-view itself is just the promo that Mick Foley cut backstage. He cut a really good one on SmackDown too, in the ring with JR that might have even been better, that I just didn't even make notes about. But yeah, Mick Foley's promo, not only is he incredible in the ring, but his promo ability, I don't know if it's underrated, but it's amazing.
Yeah, no, he's definitely... I don't know if it's underrated. I don't know what...
That's what I mean. I don't want to go out on a limb and say, oh, Mick Foley's a very underrated promo, because is he really underrated? Everybody talks about the backstage,
Yeah, the famous one with him and JR.
And the boiler room stuff too that he did. Like he can cut promos, so I don't know if he would be considered underrated, but he's definitely one of, if not, I don't know, my favorite or the best of this era. I think. Sure. All right. So anything else from the show you want to kind of get off your chest before we get into the show open?
Well, unless we're going to get into the open, a little bit about the arena, I guess.
That's what I'm kind of getting at. Yeah, you go in that, because I got a few things I want to say too.
Yeah, so I said to you, we talk about the arenas here and the setting of the aisleway and the ramp and whatnot and the pyro and things like that. But this one, I remembered it. Simple but effective is the best way I could put it. Like, I liked that it wasn't too much. It was a simple, flat aisleway with the little cage and the no way out sign above. Nothing like too fancy, but got the job done, I thought. I
agree with everything you said. Except for that little no way out sign.
On the top?
On the top. It was brutal.
Not a fan of it?
I hated it. Like, enough that I made a specific note, do not like the no way out logo, because the sign was cutting off the logo. It didn't, like, we'd have to go back and I'd have to show you.
Yeah.
But the top of the N on the no was gone.
Yeah.
Like, it was cut off. And then the bottom of out was cut off. And it was like...
Oh, really?
It was like there wasn't enough room to put the sign up, and then like, I just fucking put it up anyway. Or it was like somebody screwed it up and they didn't have enough time to fix it. I don't know what the case was, but it was just weird to me. The set I didn't mind. The cage, the staging behind it, the flat entrance, aisleway. It was just that...
that little... I kind of know what you're talking about, because I do remember that as a standout.
Because it wasn't so... Like, it wasn't... You couldn't just pick up on it very easily. Oh, that's the No Way Out logo. You kind of had to look a little close and, that is the logo. It wasn't, I don't know, it wasn't my favorite, that's for sure. But again, the smaller arena and the cool stage, very old school setting. Like I said, only 12,000 people, almost said 1,200. 12,551 people. So not massive, but like you said too, I think they didn't overdo it. It was just the right amount, especially for... This isn't Mania. This isn't Rumble. This isn't Survivor Series.
Yeah.
This isn't even SummerSlam. So it's, I don't know. I like it. We talked a little bit about the fact that it's 20 years ago. I can't believe that. That's just wild for me to say out loud that this pay-per-view took place 20 years ago.
Yeah, no, definitely, dude. Especially for me thinking back.
Well, you watched most of it and bought the VHS probably in 99 or in mid 2000, you said.
Yeah.
And then, the only other thing before we dive in, I think it just to stat-wise is just that this was a Raw and SmackDown event, but there wasn't really Raw and SmackDown at the time. It was more of a Raw and SmackDown were two separate shows, similar to how WWE was doing it. I want to say, if you're familiar, in like 2014-15, when everybody was kind of just on both shows, except for the only kind of change being there wasn't 18,000 fucking title belts. There was, a top champion, 2 Intercontinental and European, a tag team, and a women's, and I think that's it.
And the hardcore.
And the hardcore, yes. Which serves as its same sort of place as a 24/7 title or something more we're used to nowadays. But so show open. The promo video is incredible. Yeah,
it was a great intro opener with all about the storyline of Cactus and Triple H.
Telling you all the details, every detail you could need to know.
And it's kind of, they did it, I believe, in a little black and white, a little bit of like a red tint as well. That was kind of cool, I thought.
Yeah, a little bit smaller on the screen as well. The pyro.
Yep.
But this is a first.
This wasn't, it wasn't over the top.
It wasn't over the top. And normally when we go back and watch some of these shows from the yesteryear, not only do I love it, and I did love this, it just wasn't, it didn't have that pop, 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 bum, the really loud bangs that, not that I was in the building, the ones that shake your chest. It was kind of more lights and pops rather than booms, if that makes, if you know what I mean from a pyro standpoint. Maybe more like it is now and less like it was in the later 2000s, I guess, 2004, 5, 6, 7, I don't know. But I just, normally that's something that I'm gaga over is, oh my God, the pyro was so amazing at this show. But this one wasn't my favorite. I was happy that they did it. Yeah. Obviously. And it was cool that they had some in the ring at the start of the show.
Yes.
They had some on the ramp and in the ring. So that was nice. But then we talked about it a little bit. I don't have a clip of it or anything, but the music, I wasn't big on this. The kind of the music that they played there at the beginning.
Little soundtrack
kind of thing. Yeah. I mean, you made a good point to me off air that was kind of, I don't think it was like the theme song, quote unquote, of the show. I think it was more just generic music. I found it to be very Royal Rumble-y. Like I don't know if that's me in my 2006-7 era with the
I can see
Roman Caesar Royal Rumble that I'm thinking. I can see
where it has a Royal Rumble, almost King of the Ring type of feel to it. But I don't know if it's because I have watched it before that I very much associate it with the fogginess of the weather that we see.
Because they showed outside in Hartford that night.
The feel of the Hell in the Cell match that we're about to get to this evening. Which I got to bring up this point too. I was going to bring it up a little later throughout the show, but man, they really were pumping this main event throughout the show, even during other matches. Talking about how their stomachs are turning right now, Triple H and Cactus, bringing it up in between other matches. This was really heavily talked about and felt like a huge deal, which it was. Yeah,
and I was going to say, as you should.
Yeah.
That's the type of thing that gets the viewers, the people like us that are watching it, in the future.
Yeah.
Hyped up for that main event that's coming later.
Yeah, for sure.
So they did their job. I didn't even say, so it's a good thing you just said that actually to remind me. Commentary.
Yep. Good old Jim Ross and Jerry the King Lawler.
It doesn't get much better. And I know I say this every show, but these are two. This is probably the best duo that you can get. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's for sure up there.
It's definitely up there. And of course, Mr. Howard Finkel.
Yeah. Yeah, the Fink.
The Fink. When was it that Lillian jumped in? Do you remember? 2000.
Well, Lillian was here. We seen her backstage. What did Jericho call her? I don't know.
We'll get to it later because I have it written in my notes. Don't worry. Jericho called her something else. Yeah. But no, I was just curious if she was doing part-time ring work or maybe just national anthems or some shit at this point. I have no idea.
I don't remember. She might have just been backstage at this point. It might have been a year later. Or a couple years later when she started to...
Because then they were doing it, both of them were doing it for a little while, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was something... I was listening to another show and they were talking about the Fink and introducing the Royal Rumble. And that's something that I forgot that he used to always do. Oh, it's time for the Royal Rumble match. And he did a friggin' amazing job of that. I almost wish he could come back once a year just for the Royal Rumble. That would be incredible. But yeah, so we'll get to it. Like I said, different music, not the best pyro in the world, but The crowd was going absolutely fucking bonkers, as per usual when we watch one of these shows from the Attitude Era or the 2000s era. The like I said, debatably the top era in wrestling history. So lots of signs, typical for this era, everywhere. Like our boy Chris was saying when we were watching Rob and SmackDown before, just how much more signs there were. And then we got Kurt Angle.
Yeah, and with a classic. So this is very early Kurt Angle. I'm going to mention here. He's
Very early. He won the gold medal in 99.
96.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, my bad. Okay, so he was maybe 4 years out at that point.
But still, like, when did he was very new to the company at this time still, even, because I know he won that European title
Early
on, and yeah, he's a few months in here.
Oh, really? Okay,
Yeah.
so there was a few years there in between the gold medal and coming into WWE. Did he not come in 99?
Yeah, but he didn't debut until, I believe, the 2000 era. He might have done some dark match stuff in 99.
And was he cutting promos and stuff for a while too before he actually made his in-ring?
I think that kind
wasn't-
of came hand in hand, as I remember, like this style of where he would talk to the crowd before.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that I made a note of here to talk about, is that
Yeah, we're here now. Kurt Angle, Chris Jericho. We're going to get to it in a minute. So.
I love when Kurt Angle, like this early Kurt Angle, Intercontinental European Champion, King of the Ring stuff. Even when he was the WWF champion, man. Like this first kind of year of his career, he would always come out. The music would play, the music would cut, and he would kind of play off the crowd wherever they were. Kind of talk down about a sports team, or just a good heel movement, and kind of really pumping up his own, real American.
Oh, and
three eyes.
It shows that whole, everybody's heard it a million times, that the whole story about him telling Vince, they're not going to boo me, Vince. They're not going to boo me. And then it just shows how good he was, that, Olympic gold medalists can go out there and get booed by everybody.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. So yeah, Kurt Angle, like I said, came out, cut a promo on the crowd. Incredible. Like you said, he's one of the better people to do that. But we might as well get to the old matches here. And I'm going to do this in between every match tonight, Don.
And we had our girl, China.
She did. She came right out there with a nice big fucking pyro gun.
Yeah, there we got some more pyro, I was going to say.
Yeah,
A little bit more pyro.
hey, we'll find out more later. I'll talk about it, don't worry. But yeah, the China pyro gun, she was looking good. I'll give her that too.
Yeah.
China was looking good at this show.
Yeah.
And then Y2J came straight out after and cut a little bit of a semi-shoot promo, I feel like, on Kurt Angle there.
Kirk Angel.
Angel, and what did he say? The three eyes that he gave?
Ignoramus.
Imbecile maybe.
Imbecile.
And then the other one was, it wasn't even a real word. He made it. I can't remember what it was. That's why, because it was a word that he made up on the spot, on the fly. Like it was not a word that's in the dictionary.
I almost thought he was gonna go towards the old Ayatollah of rock and roll, like his own. I thought he was gonna go to that, but he mentioned the eye of his own was the Intercontinental title,
which
so
makes perfect sense. So this match here, Kurt Angle versus Chris Jericho for the Intercontinental Championship, match number 1. We're gonna do a new segment here on the Look Back Show too. I'm gonna just call it match placement, and we're just basically gonna give you a bad, a good, or a great for each of the matches in where we think they were placed. We're not going to get into the whole minutia of where, it should have been here and it should have been there and move the pieces around. We'll just tell you if we think it was good or bad, good or great.
So off the bat, what do you got for this one?
I got great.
Yeah.
I got great. I put very good and then I said, well, that's not a choice. I have to scratch that out because I'm making this up myself and I got to rate great. So it's great because it's Kurt Angle and it's Chris fucking Jericho. And you can't go wrong with two absolute legend veterans like that. One of them is still wrestling today in 2020. Mm-hmm. And the other one, I mean, he probably could still wrestle today if you know.
Yeah,
if done right. And if his career went differently. If he had taken care of his body the way Chris Jericho took care of his body, Kurt Angle may have still be wrestling. You never know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not putting that on him and saying it's his fault. I just mean with broken necks and the style that he wrestled, it's bound to have an earlier retirement than some.
Yeah, two guys who definitely went on to be, in the top tier of, goats, I guess you could say.
Yeah, no, great statement to make.
Yeah, if great's the top of the mountain, I'm giving it the same, man. I thought this was a perfect way to open up the show, especially when you have a guy like Kurt Angle getting the heat from the crowd, talking down to them, and then Jericho being super over at the time. Perfect way to start it off. You always want to start it off with,
I
bad
think,
guy, good guy.
Exactly. Nice. And the fact that they started with a bad guy music, I think, is okay because you had China come out after and you had Jericho, and the crowd was just super behind all of it. So it made perfect sense to me.
And the little touch of them both cutting a promo, a nice add-on too, right?
Right. I was extremely, I just wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
Not at all. I expected, okay, Kurt Angle will cut some kind of promo and then Jericho will maybe attack him from behind or one of those. But no, the fact that they both cut a promo was really good. Before we get to the actual match, I had a few things. Jericho's sideburns on point. Incredible.
Nice, yeah.
Never seen Jericho with the sideburns like that. And then the tee. I like the Jerichoholic tee.
Yeah, it was cool. Yeah.
I'd never seen that t-shirt before. So me and you are always something that we talk about t-shirts and wrestling gear and that kind of thing. So
I was huge on this Jericho gear too. It's very, very Y2J.
Oh, the black and pink, I think it was, or black
pink,
and purple.
Kind of lightning looking.
Yeah. And then Kurt Angle, just again, one more thing before we talk about the actual physicality in the match, but Kurt Angle in the Captain America looking gear.
Yes.
I don't know what it was, but it looked like the shield that Captain America has in the first Avenger.
I never thought about it like that, but yeah.
That's when I first saw it. I'm like, I mean, I know he's not intentionally trying to do Captain America, because at the time, I mean, it would have had to been a comic or something that not a lot of people were reading. Or nowhere near, I don't want to put down the comic, but nowhere near as many people were reading that comic as, watch the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies. And then Tim White was the referee. That's another thing I'm going to try and get into the LookBack show from now on going forward. At least the ones I can get the names for. Anything post 2010, I think the names are pretty much gone. But Tim White, a very famous referee, very well known amongst wrestling fans. So I'm sure anybody who knows, that name or watches a lot of wrestling knows that name. So yeah, let's get into it. I fast paced right off the bat. They were flying clotheslines and drop kicks and all kinds of shit.
Yeah, Jericho pulling out the classic, I don't even know what you call it, a springboard drop kick, I guess, where he kind of bounces off the turnbuckle to kick Kurt Angle off the apron.
Oh yeah. That's classic Jericho too.
The springboard drop kick. I noticed Kurt Angle in the early going of the match taking it to the outside and kind of.
I wrote that too. Outside really quick. Yeah. Backflip off the steps by Jericho.
Yeah, that was nice too. That moonsault.
And he just landed it. Like he almost missed, but the fact that he hit him with his feet, the commentary played it off like it was like a kick.
Yeah, such
like a backflip kick.
Like a tight spot to be able to do that.
And not very high up in the air.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. Those steps are what, 2.5 feet, if that, off the ground?
Yeah.
And I think he was on the second step.
Yeah, man. So, impressive shit.
Very, very impressive. Angle had a really nice belly to belly.
Yeah.
China's ass was looking great, and they didn't forget to show us.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm just telling you what I saw.
Yeah.
And they did not forget to show us what China was wearing. So, I'm just telling you what was on the screen.
The cameraman was doing his job.
That he was. He's getting directed. And then where do we go from here? Oh, like I said, the gold medal, a couple years out. That was something I wanted to bring up again.
Yeah.
But we talked enough about that. Angle tried to cheat here. Tried to go and get himself the belt outside the ring.
Yeah, so what? He brought in the Intercontinental title.
First, yes. And then he got put into the walls of Jericho, which is a famous, and you were telling me something about that.
Yeah, so on the back of the VHS, or, anybody who looks up pictures from this pay-per-view if they want to, it's a classic pose of him. It's very Lion Tamer when he's kind of first locking in the walls before he really sits into it.
Yep.
And that's a standout. It really stood out to me because I remember looking at it on the back of the VHS, and you even see the little title kind of underneath Kurt Angle.
Oh, because he was just holding. Yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, and then I don't know if you want to take it off from here, but it was China hits the steps hard.
Yeah.
Like real hard.
Yeah.
And Kurt grabs the other belt, the European Championship, runs back in the ring.
I screwed that up. He grabbed the Intercontinental. He grabbed the European first, I guess. That's what he did.
Oh, yeah, you're right, because finish. Yeah. You get to the finish here.
So he grabbed the Intercontinental title, brings it in, and Jericho was going to hit the...
Lion Salt?
Yes, Lion Salt, sorry.
No.
And Kurt Angle whacked him right in the face with the belt.
As he did the backflip. Like, basically, he did the lion salt, full backflip, landed on Angle, but when he landed on him, the title belt was on his chest.
He clocked him nice, though. I thought that was...
Yeah, it wasn't just like, the title's there. We got to act like... he actually hit him with it. Similar to Shane McMahon later with the chair we'll talk about.
Yeah, like, sometimes you see guys do a DDT on the title or...
And it misses completely.
He whacked him. You heard it. It was a good shot with the title.
Yeah, the first thing I think of, as much as I love that match to death, but is Brock Lesnar, Eddie Guerrero, 2004.
Yeah.
And the F5 onto the DDT onto the title, and it didn't really work, but it made sense. It was fine. We all knew what they were trying to accomplish there. So, yeah, new Intercontinental Champion, Kurt Angle.
Eurocontinental, I guess. We could call him.
Which we talked about. Shout out to the European Championship LookBack show that myself and Donovan did probably about a year ago now at this point. And then the referees were discussing pretty intently with Tim White and Earl Hebner there at the end. For a second, I thought they were going to go back on something. I really did.
Yeah.
I really thought that they were going to pop up on the screen. No, Kurt, you need to come back to the ring because it was a... And I'm happy that it didn't.
Yeah, he got out of there pretty quick.
Oh, hell yeah.
He was hugging those belts. And
we didn't... There was no lack of seeing him tonight, though. That's for sure. And we'll get to lots of it. But yeah, so that was it for that match. Let's...
I got the time here for you.
Yeah, perfect.
Well.
Don's going to be... Yes, my bad, Don.
As I do normally on the Pro Wrestling LookBack shows, you get the times from Don. 10 minutes and 14 seconds.
Beautiful. Sorry, I was going to say I got it for you there. If you don't got it, I just
nice.
pulled them up back up,
Sweet.
Got the Wikipedia in the back.
Oh, we got a tracker. There's a time guy here, timekeeper.
Oh, yeah. There's all kind. I got a producer lineup behind the glass over there. Yeah. Anyway, after that match, we had the Dudley Boys interview backstage with Michael Cole, and you talked a little bit about this because of what we saw on SmackDown.
Yeah, man.
And the Famouser.
Which I thought we were going to get this clip here in the backstage segment, but they did show it right before the match had started.
Mm-hmm.
And
I just like to explain that a little bit to listeners. It was kind of cool when you were watching it on SmackDown. You're like, wait, I know this.
Yeah, because I remembered this clip of Bubba Dudley standing on a table in the ring and Billy Gunn getting way up there in the air to hit the Famouser and put him through the table, which is like, it's a pretty famous clip.
Yeah, very unrealistic, but it works. It works for me.
He gets good height.
Oh, no, for sure. It's just like Bubba was standing on that table for quite a while.
Way too long to...
And
I think, did he get sacked?
Yeah. And then he didn't fall or anything. He just got sacked and bent over forward. And hey, whatever. They were trying to figure out how to get him to be bent over facing in that direction while standing on a table. So.
I couldn't believe that the table just held him.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It was just the fact that any other time somebody gets... punched in the balls in WWE or any wrestling that they drop to their knees.
Yeah.
So the fact that this is the one time he didn't, it was kind of suspicious. But anyway, I don't want to get hung up on, nitpicky little tiny segments. But let's move on. Match number two, the Outlaws versus the Dudley Boys for the WWF Tag Team Championships.
It was a quick one.
Placement?
Well...
You want me to go first?
Yeah.
I thought it was bad.
Really?
I thought it was a bad placement. Yeah, especially because you only have 3 title matches on the show.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you need to open the show with the first 2.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I mean?
See, that's
not to say that
that's your reason, because my reasoning for liking it was almost that. I think that, I know we said we're not going to talk about where it could have and should have been.
Yeah, that's fine.
The only thing I might have done is put this somewhere else a little bit down the line.
Yeah, and somewhere in the middle.
Yeah. But when I look at the grander scheme of the whole card, I like it here. And I actually like the fact of it being after the other title match. That title changed hands. And, hey, spoiler alert, but the title changed hands here as well.
We'll get to it in a minute. But
so I like that story that was told throughout the night, kind of. They brought it up later on that, we've seen 2 titles change hands. Are we going to see the third? Like, you're really kind of thinking about that by the time we get to the main
That's
event.
true, because they had that early 2 title changes. You can hang on that the rest of the night.
Yeah.
And you can keep bringing that up, the fact that there has already been 2 title changes. That's a good point.
So I guess good.
Good? Yeah. Okay, so in the middle. That's a fair pick. DX did a little bit of promo stuff. I didn't watch live. at this time. I got to be honest on, and don't be mad at me, any listeners out there. I'm just a pro wrestling fan.
He doesn't like Billy Gunn.
That likes to talk about this stuff. No, this is bigger than that.
Okay.
I just, anytime we watch old shows, and I have to watch that little, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, in 2 words, and sucker. I just don't care. Like, it's just, I didn't watch it live, so I don't have that nostalgia for it.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's old. It's an old, like, it's something that's it's very a 2000s thing. I don't think that you'd have guys doing that type of gimmick now in the same kind of way. Even when you did with Enzo and Cass, closest comparison, I think.
Good comparison, yeah.
It wasn't the same. It was a bit different. It was a little more edgy in different kind of ways. Not edgy. I don't want to say more edgy because back then it was pretty edgy, but different. It was very different. Yeah. So I just had to get that out of the way. It's just anytime we've ever done one of these look back shows or I watch old clips, I don't, it's not like I'm like, oh yeah, are you ready? Ladies and it's not one of those things, it doesn't associate with me personally. Yeah. I don't know if you obviously can speak much different on that topic.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed it. Like, it's for me, I guess it's maybe opposite, more nostalgia. Plus, they were just so over. I was for some odd, not really for some odd, but for some reason, I was a big Road Dogg fan too. Like, I remember when he had a little run as the hardcore champion on his own too, and I was
prior to this or post.
Prior, yeah. And so I was pretty into the Road Dogg stuff. Billy Gunn's cool. I like the Outlaws. I like the shtick.
That's fair. You could say. I think the only reason, if I had watched this in 2000 or even 2002 or whatever, like,
and you know what's crazy?
I would have liked it. I just don't think it's easy to go back and like have. But
it's interesting you bring that up because now just me thinking about it, there was a small window, and I guess you weren't watching wrestling as of yet, but they came back in 2013,
14, I think it was. I know what you're talking about.
And they were doing the shtick again, and it was still pretty, working.
People were digging it.
Yeah, I mean, I think they tweaked it a little.
Oh, and I'm sure a lot of the people loving it too. And not that I think this is a bad thing. I'm a fucking sucker for nostalgia.
Oh, yeah.
But I think a lot of those people that were loving it in 2014 were the people like you that, oh my God, these guys are back. Yeah. No way. So again, I don't want to get hung up on this like I fucking hate them or something, but it's just not my favorite thing.
Yeah.
Referee for this one, do you remember?
I do not. So.
Mr. Teddy Long.
Oh, yes. Teddy.
Holla, holla, holla.
Nice.
We having a tag team match.
And it was.
And it was a tag team match. Is there anything you want to say to start off the match? Because the first thing I got written down is a crazy Bubba Bomb and the Bubba Bomb before the Bubba Bomb.
Yeah.
And the Was Up before the Was Up.
Yeah.
Just because Bubba did a Bubba Bomb, and I think JR just called it a full Nelson Power Bomb or full Nelson Slam of some kind. And then when they did the What's Up, they kind of just, which is the move where Bubba holds the legs open for Devon, and then Devon does the headbutt into the crotchal region. Crotchal.
Very early. JR brought up that it was like very early for them to be pulling that out because I think they were doing it, but it obviously wasn't the whole Was Up thing yet.
And it was normally, I would imagine at the time, ending matches, not starting matches.
Yeah, exactly. Very heavily was Road Dogg being like, dominated almost.
Most of the match?
Yeah, there was a lot of tagging back and forth between the Dudleys, and JR brought it up on commentary that, they were doing like really good tag team wrestling.
And they were the heels here, no?
Yeah.
The Dudley Boys?
Which was another interesting point, right? Because we had this DX crew of, the Outlaws being babyface, and then we had X-Pac as a heel. Triple H as a heel.
Big time heel.
Really weird.
Terry. Heel, which we find out later.
Terry?
No, which one?
Tori.
Yeah. The one, the Goldust one. Just say Reynolds. That's Tori, right? No, that's Terry. Jeez.
Yeah.
I'm getting confused. Yeah.
But yeah, just weird. It was a very weird dynamic of a group, right? But cool, nonetheless.
Different to have kind of baby faces and heels mingling like that. And this is just a point, not really anything that happened in the match, but this to me just represents, and there's going to be another one later, don't worry. But this one represents just 2000s era tag team wrestling.
Yeah, for sure.
At its finest.
Yeah.
And I'll get to it with the Hardy Boys and Christian and Edge later on in the night. But
you know what else I think
between those four teams, sorry to cut you off. Between those four teams, I feel like that is tag team wrestling.
Give me who are we?
The Dudleys, the Hardys, Edge and Christian, and the Outlaws.
See, you know what's interesting about that? I would almost put like a couple other guys and they're under the tier of the Hardys, Dudleys, and Edge and Christian.
APA.
But I almost look at this match actually as like a changing of the guard. Like, I feel like this, because the Outlaws kind of weren't really a thing as much after this. Like, I feel like this was kind of a changing of the guard where the Dudleys now and the Hardys were coming up, Edge and Christian were coming up. Too Cool was catching steam.
You were getting out of the APAs and the Outlaws, like that era.
The APA were still kind of around, but I think like I would almost put like, Too Cool and even like later on Right to Censor in that kind of tier with those guys.
That's
having
true.
Good matches. Yeah, that's what I associate this match with, like a changing of the guard almost,
Tag team wrestling at this time, though, was incredible.
Oh, most definitely.
The height of it, I think.
Yeah.
Or approaching the height of it.
Yeah.
In the coming years would be the height of it.
Yeah, definitely. So not much action from Mr. Billy Gunn, and he was taken out, as well. Like he had a moment of offense in there where he kind of was taking control, hit a really tight famouser where he almost kind of...
Yeah, I noticed that too. Yeah, you noticed that?
Yeah.
He hit a famouser with his leg kind of bent inwards,
Yeah.
so he landed with his leg almost closed. I guess like your knee would be shut.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It looked like if he would have landed a little harder, he would have overextended the opposite way his knee, if anybody's following along with me.
Bubba whacked him with the pipe on the outside of the ring, though, and
That kind of changed the pace of the match.
Yeah, definitely.
So
when Bubba hit him with the pipe, Road Dogg was in there, and this is where, Devon was kind of setting him up for the 3D.
Yeah, the Dudley Death Drop.
And I got to speak on this because he did it here, and he does it very, very often. Like, I think it just amazes me, man, how Bubba always, like, can just come out of nowhere, kind of.
Oh.
Like, they set that up so well, all like 9 times out of 10.
It's
like Bubba's on the other side of the room, and he just somehow flies in there and hits that fucking... Like, because I was like, man, he hits him with the pipe, and there was something else going on before Devon really threw Road Dogg.
Yep.
Bubba
I know what you mean. He just finds a way.
Yeah.
He's right there. Like,
it.
Devon lifts him up, and all of a sudden, Bubba's right there.
Love it.
Yeah, it was perfect. And Billy Gunn taking the pipe outside the ring, that was stiff.
Yeah.
When he hit him with that, I mean, we'll get to more stuff of that later, but he smoked him with that thing.
Dropped him, and he was out.
He was, and then that was it, 3D. I asked you, was this before they were using the 3D name? Because I'd never heard the commentary refer to that move as 3D. All they said was, he hits him with the Dudley Death Drop.
Yeah.
And then maybe 3D later, I don't know. But when it happened, it was Dudley Death Drop.
I think it was still pretty much being called the Dudley Death Drop. And
which I guess is 3
Yeah.
Ds, so that makes sense.
They might have like
changed
threw it in at the end, so it was just kind of becoming.
Well, I guess like we talked about, Bubba Bomb, What's Up. These names of moves weren't really established yet. And then the only other thing I want to talk about, we'll get to it. The 1, 2, 3 with the win there for the Dudley Boys after the 3D.
Yeah, new tag champs,
new tag team champions, and a little bit of controversy from Road Dogg over to Billy Gunn.
Another one that has me curious about watching the post show.
Same. I'm curious if what your thoughts are on, do you think Road Dogg was upset that Billy Gunn wasn't wearing DX gear?
No.
Because that was a question that I had.
Why?
Why does he get to wear his Mr. Ass gear and everybody else in DX, like Road Dogg and X-Pac, is wearing the DX gear?
Triple H wears black.
Yeah, but he'll rock a DX tee here and there, and like he's a fucking champion. He should get his own T-shirt.
Billy had a DX tee, didn't he?
Did he?
Not?
I don't know. I'm just trying to be.
I know.
I
know you don't like him.
I'm trying to be that guy. I'm just trying to find a reason as to maybe why Road Dogg was,
Well, I would say
it's like you don't even wear our gear, bro. Do you even want to be a part of the team? Like, you want to like have a singles run or something?
Well, the Road Dogg was totally, beaten. Like he was doing.
Yeah, Road Dogg didn't have
work.
much else, I think, other than DX to hold on to as far as his character.
Yeah.
But no, I'm just being funny. They had a bit of tension after the match, and they were kind of arguing over whose fault it was. And you made a comment like, "Is this the start of the end?"
Yeah, I think it was. I'd have to, like I said, I'd have to watch post
Monday
stuff.
Night Raw and see if they were
But hey,
arguing,
man,
fighting with each other.
Like I said, changing of the guard. I think this was kind of that moment too.
Another good one.
5 minutes and 20 seconds, not very long at all.
No, very short. That was something I'd written right off the hop. And then we get more. Well, not more yet at this time, but we get Kurt Angle celebrating with the crowd.
Kirk
Angle.
Is this the one where he was actually up in the raft? Like
I think it was either the rafters or the concession stands.
Oh, this is a concession stand, yes, because it was early on. I remember, yeah.
Yeah, because we got Kurt Angle celebrating a lot with the crowd.
Yeah.
On this pay-per-view, it was quite enjoyable.
Goes to show you what they thought of him and the kind of things that were to come.
Well, and when you see how good he is in these segments, it makes perfect sense.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, yeah, give him another segment. He's killing it. Fucking right. Give him another one.
Yeah, he was in the concession stand, and Lawler made a comment of, look, the people have finally embraced him. I'm glad he finally embraced.
Because it was getting the you. Was that even a thing yet?
Oh, no.
No, he wasn't getting the you suck yet.
No, that was later on.
Later.
Dude, thanks to Edge. Yeah.
Edge started that.
Yeah.
That'll have to be for another Look Back show. In the meantime, moving on. Match number 3.
Sexual baby.
This match was full of sexual baby between sexual chocolate Mark Henry and Mr. Sexual Lillian Garcia to become in the future of Viscera. I don't know what his character was at this time, kind of a demonic
Yeah, this is like
leather coat wearing.
Post Ministry of Darkness, and he just kind of kept it.
He did?
He just kind of kept his thing.
But
he modified it, I guess.
But does this transition into the Viscera that I know of 2005 where he wore the vest? He wore the black vest with like black tight pants, and then that transitioned into him wearing pajamas and, you know.
Are you talking about Big Daddy V?
Yeah. Well, that was even later.
Yeah.
But there was a short time in between, I want to say 2004 or 5, where Viscera's character he looked like this. He had the creepy eyes, but he didn't have the big coat and the pants. He had more like tights, wrestling tights, and then like a vest like Corbin.
I know what you're talking about, yes.
Kind of like a King Corbin type of gimmick gear.
This one was around for a long time.
Okay.
Or what at least felt like to me a long time. The whole leather jacket.
Music was creepy as fuck.
Yeah, and those eyes, the contacts. I said
the white eyes.
Yeah.
The Roman Reigns.
I don't know how you wrestle in that.
Yeah, you mentioned that at the beginning. How do you wrestle in a big black leather coat?
Yeah.
I don't know. You'd have to ask Viscera.
So, well, R.I.P. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
I wasn't aware. I feel horrible. R.I.P. to our boy Viscera.
But man, him and Mark Henry, two big fucking...
Massive. I didn't anticipate this one being very long, so maybe you should give me the time at the beginning of this one.
3 minutes and 44 seconds. Might be the shortest one of the night, most likely, I would say.
Think it is. What about placement before we get into the rest of this?
Great.
I have it as great, too.
Yeah, it was great.
But I got to be honest. If I could swap, I would have swapped this with the tag match.
Really?
I would have. Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
really?
Personally, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Just because then it would have just kind of, you get the buffers. I'm a buffer guy. I like buffer matches. You know?
This was a buffer for some other good shit. Like
that's fair, but not a tag match. Not a title match.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes, it was a tag match. We'll get to it. But yeah, trippy music for both of the guys in this one. I thought it was kind of weird. And a really, I mean, I'll give them credit for having something, and it's not just like, oh, we're wrestling just to fucking wrestle.
Yeah. What, Mae Young?
Yeah. I don't even know what to say. Like it's.
Well, Mark Henry had relations with May at the time, and he was just trying to defend his lady.
Fair enough. Yeah, that was. I don't know. It was an odd one. They showed the clotheslines on Raw, and he just body slammed a pregnant woman.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. They definitely couldn't get away with some of that stuff nowadays. But
no, for sure not.
Like you said, two big boys here, kind of a clunky, slow match.
What about the throw into the steps? Dude, a couple of them we had.
That was the next thing I was about to say. Legit. Insane.
Yeah.
The first one was loud and big, and then the second one blew. I thought the steps were going to fly into the crowd. It was crazy.
We had the crowd. The crowd wasn't so into it, though. They were quickly...
Well, if the match was only 3 minutes, they must have been chanting boring at like 1:45, 2 minutes.
Yeah.
If the whole match was only 3 minutes.
Which I don't think is fair.
No, I don't either, especially because they actually had a story.
Yeah.
It's not just like, oh, we're going to throw these guys out just to fill a couple minutes on the pay-per-view. There was a storyline here. There was pre-planned, pre-involved things that had happened. So
they were vocal throughout the night with chants like that, though. I noticed that in a couple other matches where you heard smatters of boring going on too. So
I'd like to meet some of these people and show them a pay-per-view today.
Yeah, seriously.
Because not to say they're all boring today, but this was an incredible fucking pay-per-view, and I don't think the people in attendance realized the amazing show that they were seeing
at the time. Yeah.
No. Yeah. But yeah, so quick match. I don't know.
Mae
Young with the bump. She comes in.
Yeah,
She
Mae
gets
Young,
thrown down by Viscera pretty quickly.
That was probably the most lively the crowd got for this match. I'm not going to stay too like on it, but
Yeah, fair
Mae
enough.
Young came down and the people stood up and got right into it, and she got fucking tossed to the ground, and I thought she was going to get splashed again, but Mark Henry kind of bull charged at Viscera, knocking him down.
It was like I said, it was a bit of a different one, but holy fuck on the bump for Mae Young.
Oh yeah,
I don't know if I can get it quick enough, but I want to give her a round of applause.
Definitely.
Because holy shit, Mae Young, that was incredible. But that was it. We get the 1, 2, 3 after the power slam from Mark Henry on Viscera.
Yep.
1, 2, 3. Mark Henry goes out with the win, but don't forget Viscera giving you that Hulk Hogan classic kick out on 3.
Oh, keeping strong, brother. Keep
him strong. Well,
Yeah.
3.5, I think he kicked out immediately after that hand hit the mat. And then, that was the end of that. We led to... Oh, this I had to get in quick.
Yeah.
They were showing the JR and King, and they were talking to them, and then they showed these guys behind them with those signs.
Oh yes, the cardboard signs.
Legalize scalping.
And
What the fuck is... What? What? I don't know where that even came from or how they got the idea to put that on a sign. And yeah, like you said, it looked like a piece of cardboard they found in a dumpster right before they walked in the arena.
and
Yeah, the other sign just said, "Call me, Matt." And it had like
Creativity,
289. It had a number on it. Probably not 289, but some sort of number on there. And then we got Chris Jericho interview with Vivian
yes, that's what it was.
Lillian Garcia. So I thought that was awesome. And he was basically just talking about how mad he was about the whole Kurt Angle situation.
Yeah. And I guess we will roll on to our next match, or
Very quickly, I just wanted to point out they showed Billy Gunn backstage kind of
oh yeah,
talking, the pain from his shoulder and getting hit with the lead pipe. So I don't know.
hard shot.
It was another hard shot. But we will move on. Number 4,
Number 1 contenders match for the tag team titles
the Hardy Boys with Tori.
versus Edge and Christian, with a special guest appearance from the Acolytes.
Yes, and the referee, I might as well get it in nice and early. Jimmy Corderas, shout out to our boy.
Yeah.
Over there on Aftermath TV and Sportsnet, Rogers Sportsnet, Ontario.
What up, Canada?
What up, Canada is right. First off, right off the bat, dope gear on both teams.
Yeah, for sure,
I
man.
like the gear on both guys.
sure.
Even though the Hardys was kind of basic, I know they've had, more wild gear than this in the past and future from this, future from this moment. But yeah, both of their gears were really good. I liked Edge and Christian coming through the crowd in their entrance. I thought that was sick.
Yep.
APA, like you said, for the backup for the Hardy Boys, but you said it was just because of the Dudleys.
Well, they were back up, actually. So they were obviously the protection agency, and Terry had approached them. They showed a
Tori.
little clip. No, Terry.
Terry Reynolds. Jeez, Tori's the other one. I said Tori earlier.
This is going to be a running
This
joke
is going to
of
be
this
a running
episode.
joke. Anyway.
So Terry approached them, and she was attacked by the Dudleys before. Like, Bubba was putting women through tables, Mae Young through tables, putting whoever through tables. So she had been a victim in the past. So for her safety...
Is that what she flashed him or something backstage while they were playing poker? Or did she just ask him?
I thought she did, but she didn't. I don't
She
know.
didn't.
That might have happened at some other time. Or just,
Either way, she was implying that
Yeah.
she was giving them favors of some kind to come help. And then what do we got here? Like I said, this was the start. We said at the beginning of the show, this is kind of the start of the mega TLC ladder match era between these tag teams.
Yeah. It's like a benchmark point for sure. I would say. Like, there's other classics in between. Like, I know they mentioned a ladder match or a cage match
Prior to this?
previously, not between that, but even just between Edge, because I know at the Royal Rumble the month before, the Dudleys and the Hardys had a wicked table match.
Oh, okay. And I
that-
think you've mentioned that to me before. I don't know if it was on
Yeah.
a round table or something.
And in '99, I believe it was No Mercy, the Hardys and Edge and Christian had that classic tag team ladder match. And after that, they kind of had a mutual respect for each other. And that's what this was. So this match, that's why you seen both teams were babyface.
Yeah.
Edge and Christian weren't really healing it up.
Which is
this
weird for
point.
me to see
Yeah.
because I was expecting them to be heels.
No, same. I totally kind of forgot about that aspect of it. But it made for a fucking wicked match.
Yeah, how about the women loving the Hardys there? They took their tees off pretty damn early, and the crowd went fucking insane. That's all I was saying to you. I'm like, wow, listen to the women, bro.
Yeah. I was surprised they got to that so quick, because normally that's a thing kind of when maybe Matt goes for the leg drop or Jeff goes for the swanton. They
Rip
do
off the tee.
later in the match. But like also too, in the first maybe 50 seconds of the match, Jeff Hardy does a fucking corkscrew moonsault off the top rope.
That's his patented, and he had been doing it since back then.
Yeah.
That was another thing I had kind of made a comment about is I would imagine, don't quote me here, but I would imagine these guys are all like under the ages of 25.
Yeah, they were
this
very young at this time, yeah.
Because Christian can't be much older than 50, and I know Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy aren't, so
Yeah.
Edge maybe, but either way, they're in their mid to early 20s, all four of them at this time, let alone the Dudleys. I don't know how old they were. Probably around the same. So it's just crazy to think about, I don't know, just how young they really were when you think about it. I mean, 27 isn't 25. That isn't that young, but pretty young for pro wrestling.
And changing the game too at this time, like you said. And a lot of the moves we seen throughout this match, whether it was, like I said, with the corkscrew moonsault or Christian diving on the outside.
How about that power bomb from Edge on Jeff Hardy?
Yeah.
Insane.
Edge he caught him like midair and
he looked high, like he almost looked like he's like, okay, he's too high up in the air. There's no way he's gonna actually hit a power bomb.
Yeah.
There.
The spear that Edge hit, this was a little later into the match, but I guess they call it.
Well, before that, one sec. How about the pile driver? Edge just did a straight up normal, wouldn't see it in 2020 or I don't know, 2010 onwards, straight up pile driver
To Jeff Hardy,
yeah. And then he hit the what I had just said, which was the power bomb. Jeff Hardy had a nice missile drop kick.
Yep. Where Edge had jumped off the top rope and Jeff caught him right in the gut, so much that they kind of replayed it, I believe, a couple of times right after.
And then we get Matt Hardy to come in with the hot tag offense and the double drop off the top rope.
That was awesome. That's classic.
That is classic Hardy Boys.
They got some good height there too, I noticed. You had Jeff on one side of the ring, Matt on the other, and coming and hitting the leg drop slash body slash splash, I guess.
Yeah, it was a splash and a leg drop. Because I said to you, I'm like, oh, are they going to do double splash or double leg drop? And you're like, oh, one of each. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I should have known that. And then I know you wanted to talk about that spear, so get into that. That was what was happening next. I just wanted to get the stuff in between there.
So, the classic, I think they call it like tandem offense or something, where Jeff Hardy jumps off Matt's back and does like a kick into the guy who's in the turnbuckle. So we had Edge in the turnbuckle. Jeff Hardy jumps off Matt's back, gets speared midair. Wicked.
It was incredible.
Wicked.
And I know I say that a lot, but it really was.
It was really like out of nowhere. And then you had Matt even.
I thought that was going to be it.
Turned around with his hands
like
up.
He was celebrating, and then it looked like Edge was going to hit Matt, and he didn't. He reversed it into I think a twist of fate.
Yep.
And I said to you, I'm like, oh, Christian's going to get the win here.
Yep.
With the what's it called? What's he called?
I guess it was the Impaler
at that time still. And then we get Terry.
Yeah. So
not Tori.
Yeah. Well, after Jeff was up and on the top rope, almost gearing up for a swanton bomb, we had Terry
after the twist of fate.
Yep. We had Terry up there doing the whole hand sign and dancing on the apron, and then she fucking shoves Jeff Hardy right off.
And you're thinking, what the fuck?
Yeah, into the barricade, and then we pretty much got to Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy's looking like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and then he gets hit by Christian and pushed into Terry, stops himself from hitting her, and then she smacks him in the face for no reason. He turns around and he gets the impaler.
For the 1, 2, 3.
And that's it.
And your new number one contenders,
and
Edge
then
and Christian.
Yeah, and then Terry's outside the ring, and Jeff Hardy, after he kind of regroups himself a little bit.
Matt, yeah.
Or was it Matt or Jeff?
Yeah, Matt.
Oh, it was Matt. So he grabbed her hair, started to pull her in, and she's like, oh my God, what am I going to do? My tits are going to fly out. She was looking great, too. I can't be complimenting China if I'm not complimenting her.
Yep. No.
And then the APA, or the Acolytes. Explain this to me.
It's a bit of both, I guess.
But at this time, are they the Acolytes, and then they're not the APA yet? Or are they the APA and they're just being called both?
This is honestly a weird period to me, because I feel like we knew that they said the APA at some point.
Okay, so it was
they
both.
also called
it was
them
a bit
Acolytes.
of both.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't realize that.
It transitioned, I guess, into the short form, because Acolytes is the APA, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, they beat the shit out of the Hardy Boys pretty quick, and Jeff Hardy got another powerbomb dropped pretty much on his head by Farouk.
Oh my God, that was brutal. And you were talking about Farouk and his massive biceps.
Farouk
bro.
was looking
huge. I've never seen him because I picture him like, damn, older guy, right? Because it's from the eras that I've seen. But yeah,
he's in tip-top shape.
He was in great shape, that's for sure. But yeah, that was pretty much it. Terry runs away, all excited and happy that she didn't have to deal with that because the APA kind of took the Hardy Boys out at that point, and then that was the end of your match there in match number 4.
15 minutes and 5 seconds.
One of the longer ones, I would imagine.
I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. What do you think about the placement of this match?
Did I not get that yet? My bad.
I don't think we did.
Oh, shoot. My bad, Don.
Sorry.
I'm going to say, I want to give you the accurate representation of what I wrote at the time.
I might be pretty...
I wrote good.
Yeah.
I think it's good. You know what, though? I think it'd be great because especially if you switch around the match that was before it and you put the Viscera match second and you put... But then you got 2 I don't know. We're getting into the minutia here.
Great. That's why I think this one's great.
Yeah, this one?
Because I'm looking at the grander scheme, too.
Oh, that's a good point. I'm gonna stick with my good.
Okay.
But I don't disagree with you at all because it's, it's a good statement to make. But following that, we had an immediate interview with Edge and Christian backstage with Michael Cole, kind of reacting and saying, hey, what do you mean? We won. I'm pretty sure they'd be celebrating the same if they won this way. So, and that kind of drives home the point about you saying that they were baby faces.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Definitely, I don't know. Worth bringing up, that's for sure. And then Big Show interview, trying to get redemption with Lillian Garcia. Well, not redemption with Lillian Garcia, but he was trying to get redemption.
Oh, and this is where we got a little bit of Rumble footage, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought Big Show here was, when I say, okay, I thought he was very soft, but I don't mean soft like he was a pushover, weak.
Yeah.
I just felt like he was very soft-spoken. He wasn't screaming. He wasn't yelling. He was just talking.
Yeah.
Trying to get his point across and simply making a case for, a compelling case after what I saw.
Yeah.
For why he should be the one that won the Royal Rumble back 2 months ago, whenever that was. I think this was, because on Wikipedia it shows Royal Rumble, this pay-per-view, and then WrestleMania. So there's nothing in between.
Nothing yet.
So, I don't know. Just like now, I guess, when you have Rumble, Fastlane, Mania.
Yeah, Show making his argument again, and then I guess we'll get into what we had next on the card.
Match number 5, the Big Boss Man versus Taz.
Don't forget Prince Albert.
Yeah, he was in there too.
He was there.
Kinda. His hair was there. His back hair was also involved.
And that costume, that gear. I guess you could call it. It's interesting.
Yeah. Sorry, I was trying to make sure I got the refs for the last match, but I said Jimmy Corderas.
Yep.
The ref for this one, second match of the night for himself, Mr. Teddy Long.
Nice. Another quick one, man.
Yeah, this one was another rivalry. Like it was not.
Yeah.
It wasn't, not that you get very many just random matches on pay-per-views, but this had some story. They had wrestled Taz on I think it was Raw earlier in the week that I saw, so it made sense. But like you said, not very long. What's the time? Get it off right at the beginning here.
1:23.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I guess that makes sense. So we'll get to it.
Yeah.
I got to get, because we've been kind of talking about a few things before we get to the physicality, but Taz's music is just incredible. I love it. One of my favorites. I don't know if I said that in the theme music show we did back in the day, but I think it's up there with one of my favorites. Yeah. And then I just noticed how much the commentary was loving Taz.
Yeah.
Like he was over as a motherfucker in this, or maybe not over as a motherfucker with the fans. He don't get me wrong. He was, but
yeah, we got some ECW chants.
We did get some ECW chants. But I just meant, like, for somebody that we know, because we know this is 20 years later, we're watching this, didn't get the greatest run in WWF, WWE, it was weird for me to hear the commentary bigging him up so much and talking so highly of him.
Yeah, you know what? I kind of look at that as he only debuted a month or before. He debuted at the Royal Rumble pay-per-view.
Oh, wow.
Against Kurt Angle.
Okay, I knew that, but I didn't put 2 and 2 together and realize that was... Yeah. So that was the one at Madison Square Garden then?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was not very long. So he was still kind of... I guess they were still kind of figuring it out.
So that's why they were hyping him up so much.
And I think, dude, even the way that he went out at the end, that was still... They were still trying to drive the point that, hey, this guy, he doesn't quit. Like that was something to talk about here. Right?
That's kind of what I was getting at, is they treated Taz very well here. As much as he got, we'll get to it, beat down, they treated him very well. So, I don't know, the match started out, they were fighting on the ramp.
Yeah.
Easy kind of right off the bat.
Yeah.
No fucking around.
Taz had a nice suplex in the match.
Oh,
he did get that in.
Really nice suplex, and he always talked about on his podcasts and shows, radio shows that he did back in the day, just his arch work.
Yeah.
And not that he wanted to talk about himself that much, but he did. I don't know. He's one of the better guys, I'd say, to pull off those kind of arching suplexes.
For sure.
And then
Prince Albert got right in there, and
well, we got the Taz mission more or less right off the bat.
oh yeah. Exactly.
And then I felt like Big Boss Man was gonna tap, and that was kind of what they were implying. And then Prince Albert, back hairy man, comes in and fucks everything up. Kind of quick DQ from Prince Albert, beat down on Taz. I'm not happy about this. I wasn't happy watching it. I was just like, oh, this sucks, beating the shit out of Taz. But
the fight in him.
The fight in him. You're right, to keep coming back, to keep fighting, not going down. And maybe, who knows, if we do end up in our spare time, in our off time, watching the post No Way Out Monday Night Raw, maybe he will show up on there and with some boys. I don't know. Mm-hmm. I feel like he should have been in the Radicals at this time. He would have just fit perfectly. Even though he wasn't from WCW, I just feel like he would have fit in that group perfectly.
That would have been kind of cool, actually. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Not just because he's short, but partly because he's short.
He kind of.
I just think
that.
Yeah, he's
edgy kind of feel.
Totally,
to him,
especially him and Perry Saturn. I think.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too.
That could be a good tag team
for sure.
But yeah, so not happy. Super short match, and then I couldn't get over no help. Like nobody came to help him. But I don't know if that's just me being a more newer fan and more used to that. Whereas back then we had more beatdowns and shit. I don't know. And
Taz was the new kid on the block, you know.
That's true.
Maybe he didn't have as many friends.
That's also another good point, Don. That's very true. I thought it was hilarious though on commentary, or not even on commentary. Sorry, Teddy Long, the ref, who said, "You're gonna beat him to death. Stop! You're gonna beat him to death."
And Taz, I love how he just kept going. Like,
why? That's the next.
I thought it was gonna end.
Dude, that's the next thing I have written down. Not to cut you off, is Taz won't die.
Yeah,
it's literally that's the next thing on my piece of paper. Is he just wouldn't die? He kept getting up. It was like a guy in the alleyway in New York getting beat up, and it's Taz. Like, makes sense. I thought he just keeps standing up.
It was also a very smart strategy. The way that he was kind of going at Albert is he was picking the leg to bring him down.
Exactly,
because of such a huge size difference. He was he kept continuously grabbing at that leg and dragging him down.
I think Taz is one of those guys that just he thinks about those little things all the time,
yeah.
And then this makes sense if I pull him down from here because I'm a smaller guy. I don't know. He's constantly thinking about that stuff. But then, I don't know how much he was thinking after this. We
had Albert get a hold of him and kind of lock him in, and Boss Man with that famous nightstick cracks Taz over the skull with it. And
if nobody's seen this, go back. Maybe it's on YouTube. I don't know. Or if you have the network, go back and watch it. But I just felt bad for Taz here because that nightstick like straight up cracked. Like you said, it wasn't just like a metaphor. Like it cracked over his fucking head. He started bleeding.
The impact.
The thing was in two pieces, and I don't know if it was a work nightstick? I think it was just a nightstick. I don't know. Maybe it had a little pre-crack in it, but either way, it was fucking stiff.
Yeah.
So all the credit to Taz there, and thank you for putting your body on the line for all them years. And I love your radio show podcast when you did have one there, Taz.
Yeah. And we had Boss Man with his, walking out, "Stay down, boy."
Yeah, boy. It was very fitting with his character, that's for sure.
Definitely.
But yeah, moving on, we had Kurt Angle once again.
Kirk Angel
celebrating again with the crowd this time. This is where he was in the bleachers or the stands, I guess, at that time.
What did Lawler say? He's up in the nosebleeds with the fan. He's a real man of the people. He's the people's champ. He's the real people's champ. So.
Probably something we didn't talk about enough tonight. It's just how good Jerry Lawler is and how good he was on Monday Night Raw and when I was watching it too, and SmackDown if I'm honest. But yeah, so I guess we should move on to the next one there, Don. Match number 6.
Bravo. Can I get a round of applause for the promo package at least?
Oh, incredible.
Awesome shit.
And if we didn't already say it, X-Pac versus Kane in a no-holds-barred match with the referee Tim White.
Nice. And
we had
Tori.
I'm just letting you say it from now on.
Tori with X-Pac and Paul Bearer with Kane.
Yes.
This match felt longer than it was to me.
How long?
It was 7 minutes and 50 seconds. It felt a little bit longer to me. I don't know why.
It definitely felt like a double digit.
A good 12, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Do you want to talk about the match? You want to give a placement? Because did we go placement on the last one too, or no? We forgot.
We didn't. So let's
do that. Quickly do that. Taz, placement. I thought it was good. I wouldn't have moved it that much.
I thought it was good. I wouldn't have moved it because of the length of it, and seeing as we got a longer match before and a heavy story match after. It was a nice buffer, like the Henry Viscera match earlier.
No, that's a good point. Yeah, I'm not. You know what? Fuck it. We'll go great. We'll go great.
We got great. Yeah.
All right, but like we said, moving on. Kane versus X-Pac, no holds barred, with Tori and
Paul Bearer.
Bearer. I said the name right. And Tim White is the referee. We gave the applause already, but holy shit, that promo video.
Fucking awesome, man.
Just made you care.
Yeah.
The love triangle between the three of them, and DX is just something I'm doing on the side, man.
Yeah, these guys were tagged.
Like, we're friends. Like, you're my boy.
At one point, yeah.
They won the titles?
I believe so, yeah.
There you go. So they had the tag team titles at one point. I loved that little shot of X-Pac, man. When he was, like, you made a comment about when we were watching it, but just him, DX is just something I'm doing on the side. And I know I just said that, but it was just amazing.
Yeah,
I thought it was perfect. And then for him to low blow him, and I just would have been bought into that. If I was watching that week to week and I watched them low blow Kane like that and him make out with Kane's broad, I would have been fucking upset.
And what I remember leading into it a lot was they were really pushing the fact of like Kane might be a new member at DX. And if you notice that in the promo, he's like, you idiot, like you're not the new member at DX.
Yeah, which is, I'm sure some people at the time were thinking, oh, Kane and DX.
Yeah.
You never know.
The big
that would be
monster,
cool.
Yeah.
He could be their big heater or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. It just the storyline. The story, promo, whatever you want to call it, with leading into this match was incredible.
Yeah, X-Pac taking Tori and fucking burning Kane with a fucking...
Oh, yeah, the fire gun, pyro gun. It's similar to the China gun that she had earlier in the night.
Fucking crazy.
But yeah, so story build and everything was amazing. The flamethrower we talked about. Kane's music, classic. I like this stuff. Not my favorite of all Kane's music, but it works perfectly for this era.
I love the switch of the gear from the red and black, like the classic. I guess more. It's just a reverse.
It's of the
99, 98.
That's exactly what I wrote. I just the fire in the ring too to kind of scare X-Pac at the beginning. His gear was amazing. Yeah. It was, like you said, simple. Just he had black where there was red and red where there was black on the old one.
Awesome.
But it was perfect. And then to top it all off, Paul Bearer coming out in a black suit with the red suit jacket.
Oh yeah.
Just
money.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Incredible. And yeah, I don't know. That was that.
And these guys got to it pretty quick. I think what X-Pac tried to get some offense in, but Kane quickly.
And fighting outside the ring almost immediately.
Yeah.
Into the set, throws him into the garbage can. He beats him up with the garbage can, throws him into the barricade.
One thing I wanted to say about the shots with the garbage can, I thought it was pretty funny that we had X-Pac give Kane like 2 shots, and they were pretty like heavy shots, but they didn't do much damage. Kane then grabs the can and he just like wails him with it, completely dents
the shit out of the garbage can. Yeah. And you made a comment too, because I didn't really pick up on it as much until you had said it. But the crowd was loving this match.
The crowd was really into Kane, man.
Going crazy for this.
They were, like you said, if you were watching at the time, you would have been like, well, yo, what the fuck?
What the fuck is right? I would have been totally on Kane's side if I was watching at the time.
I seen a guy with a Kane mask or face paint, as we said. I seen like a few Kane signs, and the crowd was like really into it when they were fighting in that aisleway and beginning of the entrance crowd area. Super into it.
Yeah, they were all over the ring. Like I said, the crowd was going nuts. They used the barricades, the garbage, everything possible. We already talked about Kane's gear being incredible. And then X-Pac really fighting from behind all match. That's what I found, which makes sense, being the smaller guy fighting Kane and what he had done to Kane prior to.
So what about when we had X-Pac with the chair and Paul Bearer grabbing the chair?
Thank you. You're on point here with where I was about to say.
Grabbing the chair from behind and...
Tori running in and pulling the chair, fighting.
Paul Bearer
chasing her around. It was insane. And then she eventually makes her way into the room. She gets into the ring, and gets the tombstone pile driver from Kane.
Yep.
And that was pretty much it for her. She was done at that point. And then I don't remember what happened, but Kane kind of turned around and he got the steps thrown at him.
Yeah, like he was going to use the stairs. X-Pac kicked him into him, and the stairs then fell on Kane.
The stairs fell on his neck and blocked him down.
And X-Pac used it for momentum to get the 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, and he stepped on the steps.
Yep.
Like he was standing on the steps or sitting on Kane and the steps when he was counting the 1, 2, 3. Obviously, like we said, no holds barred, so it doesn't matter. I really liked the finish of this one.
Yeah, I thought it was good because it was, like you said, X-Pac was really like fighting from behind the whole match. And, going into it, you want Kane to get his revenge. And, he did in some ways, maybe with getting his hands on Tori and getting to beat the shit out of X-Pac a little bit. But X-Pac being the slimy guy, just kind of finding a way to weasel his way out was like, I thought it was a good way to tell the story.
Yeah, and I'd be curious against another one of those ones that we'll have to maybe watch some more stuff and find out how that all went down if you don't know already. Yeah. Like if they continued, I would imagine this needed to continue, because if I was watching this and Kane didn't get his, and X-Pac didn't get his comeuppance, as they say, I would have wanted Kane to get his revenge somehow.
Oh, for sure.
But yeah, moving on. That match was...
Did we get the placement already? We did, and we knocked that out.
No, we didn't, because we jumped back to Taz. I'm sorry, that's my bad too, and it's a segment that I brought onto the show.
It's okay.
I went with good for this one, not great. But I thought now that we're reassessing some of the other ones, I think the fact that this is coming after the Boss Man tag match, it might almost be in the great category.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
Good to great.
I might go like
lower
with the whole card. Great. I thought this was good where it was.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Did you send in your cable bill to prove that you watched the show so you could get your free T-shirt?
I did not, because I didn't typically watch the pay-per-views live back in the year 2000.
I tried. First time. This blew my mind.
That's good shit.
I did not know that this was even a thing. I've never even heard of this. Yeah. Send us your cable bill of proof of purchase and we'll send you a free T-shirt? That's fucking awesome.
Oh, yeah.
I want a free T-shirt.
The height of fucking wrestling, eh?
Well, it's not even just the height of wrestling. It's just the height of
But people were doing that.
100%. But what I was going to say is it's the height of different times.
Oh, for sure.
It's just that's pay-per-view buying era. They're trying to get people to buy the pay-per-views and feel more justified by their $70, $60 purchase of this show.
Yeah.
Not only do you get that, you get the T-shirt to remember when you watch the show.
With Triple H flex.
We should go on eBay and try and see if we can find a No Way Out 2000 T-shirt. I bet you'd be worth a lot.
Definitely.
Especially if it was in mint condition.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. That was something that we got a little promo from JR kind of talking about the T-shirt and how you can send in your cable bill and find out that. So I figured any of the listeners who don't know about that kind of thing would be, I don't know. It's a funny thing to find out about. That's for sure. But the Radicals interview next with Chris Benoit, Dean Malenko, Eddie Guerrero, Perry Saturn getting all interviewed by Michael Cole.
Yep. They mentioned that this would be their first pay-per-view match.
Debut.
Since joining.
Eddie was a little bit hurt because he had been in a scrap there with Rikishi on Monday Night Raw, which I saw.
Yep.
And Rikishi had given him kind of a move.
Bonsai drop?
Yes. Yeah, in the corner. But he was already wearing the sling. So
previously, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know if he had the sling in the match or how that went down, but yeah.
And he made sure to show that pipe that he had.
He had as well. I think he had that on SmackDown too.
So he planned to get even.
Which honestly was weird. It looked like a 3-inch piece of rebar.
Yeah,
painted silver. Yeah. Bent sideways like a candy cane. Yeah. It was really weird piece of weaponry to have in a wrestling match. But yeah, that was just them, like you said, kind of hyping up their first pay-per-view debut match. Match number 7, like we just talked about, Perry Saturn, Chris Benoit, and Dean Malenko versus Rikishi and Too Cool.
Yeah.
Being Scotty Too Hottie and
Grandmaster Sexay.
Every time I hear Grandmaster, I want to say Flash, but it's just not the case.
Not tonight. I
have the ref. I don't know his name. I guarantee most of you people know who he is, but I just wrote down Blondie. Don't know his name, and it's that guy with the blonde hair.
Lil Nate?
No, not him.
No, this is way before. This is way before Lil Nate.
I know who he is. Now you're gonna put me on the spot, and I can't remember his name. But anyway, Lil Nate is good enough. Well, good enough for right now.
Yeah.
I can't. Now that's gonna bug me. Type it in on your phone.
We'll
get it after. Either way, you get the beginning of this, and I'll find out who it is.
So yeah, we got Too Cool and Rikishi taking on the Radicals. This match time, decent amount of time, 13 minutes and 30 seconds. I thought the placement of it was pretty, fitting.
Charles Robinson.
There we go. Good.
So
Because that would have been.
It would have bugged me the rest of the show. I had to get that out there. But yes, I agree with you. This one, it was super cool for me to see. Too Cool.
Yes.
If I'm honest, it's just because, like I said to you before, these are guys I vaguely remember.
Yeah,
from,
you didn't
from
really...
my early times of watching wrestling, and whenever that was, and as a kid, 2003, 2002. But yeah, this I don't know, and it's also, like I said earlier in the show, the first time I've ever seen a Radicals match in a full match setting.
Yeah, which shout out to that entrance music because I love it.
Incredible.
I feel like you didn't get to see it a lot. As much as like they were pumped as a thing, I feel like that music wasn't. I don't remember it as much as
I just think they're such a cool stable.
Yeah,
just a cool. It's to me, and this obviously isn't a chirp, but it's like a stable out of a game.
Yeah,
it's a stable that you would make in a wrestling video game. I don't know why.
That's a good way to put it. I think
because they're random guys, right? Like it's kind of I know they're all friends and they all came from the same company, but their look and styles are very different.
Yes, for sure.
But yeah, we'll get into it. 6-man tag. Probably my least favorite type of match that there is.
Did you enjoy this one at least for what it was?
I did. More than typical, 6-man tag matches.
Yeah. I don't know where to start with this one.
Rikishi attacked Eddie before the match. We can start with that.
Yeah, that's true because we did get Eddie Guerrero out of there pretty quick, and he was not present at ringside throughout the match.
No, and you had mentioned that he said in the promo, I got this pipe. I'm bringing this pipe to the ring.
He tried to hit Rikishi with it, and
Rikishi took it, I think, and then he gave him that same bonsai drop or whatever you were. You said Yokozuna used the bonsai drop, and you're not sure if Rikishi had the same name.
I can't remember I feel like they might have called it that too.
Later on, too. I feel like he was kind of developing his character at this point anyway. Too Cool's gear is fucked. Like, what were they? I know they were supposed to be...
Too Cool.
Yes, I know they were supposed to be Too Cool, Don, but I just, the bucket hat with the cutout top and then the goggles and I guess it was the year 2000, but the shirt tied around his waist, like the flannel,
Grandmaster?
The flannel tied around the waist.
And he's wearing that wife beater?
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
Yeah, but you know what?
But it works.
They were supposed to be like hokey. Like even at that time,
okay. As
much as like that bucket hat, maybe not the open top was in, and I don't know, I remember the weird trend of the goggles. Like I do remember it. Like not like it was a huge
No.
But I do remember in movies and the stupid little goggle thing.
Yeah, it was definitely a thing.
It's very hokey though,
2000s era. I think that's what I'm forgetting is I'm looking at their fashion with like maybe not that I'm a fashion head, but like 2020
like a modern
eyes.
eye, yeah.
You know what I mean? Whereas what they're wearing fits more in the year 2000 maybe than it does now. Rikishi Fatu.
Yeah.
Ooh, so.
Yeah.
Sick.
This is very early, I guess, probably in him being with Too Cool, because he didn't even have the Rikishi writing on the gear, on the trunks.
No, you had said that to me while we were watching it.
Just all black. Yeah.
And we'll get to it later with how the match kind of closed.
Yeah. And Rikishi had I got to mention, he had the leg heavily taped, too.
Yeah, from a prior injury, I would imagine, of some kind. Mm-hmm. And I told you, his gear was a little much. What? I mean, I know I said I like the women's gear, but if you're going to let Rikishi show that much skin, then let's let the women show that much skin too, to be honest. Speaking on the same point of gear, actually, I loved Perry Saturn's gear. It's just trunks, but like the color...
Were they turquoise?
Yeah, they were turquoised in, I think, like a little bit of a green with like a lightning bolt kind of.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just thought it was cool, not very basic.
Yeah.
Different. And he's just he looks like a solid... built tough dude. Yeah. I haven't watched a lot of Perry Saturn's matches, so it was cool for me to see him in this one. Dude.
A lot of Benoit in this match, I thought. He was getting...
I was just going to say the backdrop.
They're really establishing him here.
Is there anyone that does a backdrop better than Chris Benoit? I can't think. Maybe Kurt Angle.
Yeah, maybe Kurt Angle, yeah.
And even still, I don't know.
Even still, yeah.
Benoit had been wrestling longer.
Yeah.
As far as professional wrestling.
Yeah.
But all in all, crazy match. The crowd absolutely loved this.
Yeah, super into Too Cool. They were over
as a motherfucker, like I always say. And
no, sorry, go on.
I was just gonna say, I thought it, because you asked me at the beginning too. Like, I thought this was a good 6-man match.
Yeah.
For a 6-man tag, this
Like
hit.
you were entertained.
Absolutely, I was entertained. And side note again, because I know we talk a lot about the gear, but Benoit's gear is a little bit different. It didn't have the rabid kind of scratchy stuff. It was very just like circles.
Oh, the little
I wouldn't even call them claws. They were more like ovals.
like diamond, not even diamond.
No, yeah,
I
like
don't
closest
know,
to
like-
be like an oval, man,
Yeah.
or like an eye, the shape of like an eye, like your eyeball.
See, I'm used to those ones from
Not
this
your eyeball,
time.
sorry, your
like
eye.
because he wore those in this time. I know what you're more like
Used to. No,
accustomed
it's
to,
not
yeah.
that I expected him to see that. I don't know. Me and you always talk about gear, so
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
always looking at gear and noticing gear. When did he get new gear? Is he reusing old boots or whatever?
Mhm.
But yeah, like we said, the crowd was into it. They wanted the worm when he did that hop around on one leg.
And
Scotty?
when Dean Malenko fucking nailed him with the forearm, that was a stiff.
I missed
fucking
that.
Forearm. So he was gearing up for the worm early on in the match.
Yeah.
And he just got juiced by Dean Malenko quickly with the forearm. And Lawler was dying. Like, he loved this. Like, he was just loving this. He was really throwing it out there that, oh, good, we're not going to get to see the stupid worm.
Which was crazy because his son is the one who wants to see the worm more than anyone. But yeah, he eventually did get to do it.
Yep.
He popped. What does he do? Like the 1, 2.
WORM.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But the crowd was
yeah.
chanting
Oh, yeah.
like hardcore
Yep.
for this. And then hits the worm, and then we get.
Did you like the hip hop drop? I gotta ask
That's
you.
what I was about to say next, man. You've been doing good with this tonight. Every time I'm about to read something, it's the next thing I'm gonna say. Yeah, I like the name.
With the goggles.
I like putting the goggles on,
Yeah.
and he went for it. He jumped like
He got air
ooh,
for sure.
3/4 of the ring. It was far.
Fuck it.
So yeah, I think I did like
Yeah.
it overall. Rikishi with the bonsai drop on who was it?
He got it on Dean Malenko.
Because was Dean Michael also the one that hit the hip hop drop or no?
I believe that's who they hit it on. Yeah.
And then he stood up, got hit by Rikishi in the corner, and then fell down, and then obviously got taken the bonsai drop in the corner closest to the kind of the ring bell.
I like
area.
Rikishi, the selling of the ankle as well.
The hurt knee.
Before.
The knee though when he lands.
Yeah, well, because he had his leg like the calf
All
ankle
kind
area
of
like
okay,
taped.
okay.
And even when he was standing on the rope, he kind of struggled, and I think Scotty from the outside kind of held the rope for a second.
Okay.
And then he
Just
he
the little
landed it
things.
and, yeah.
The little things, because I just remember seeing him kind of holding his knee after he landed,
Mhm.
and the commentary made it. He hurt his knee to pull that move off.
Were you surprised at the finish? Because I remember you kind of being like, "Oh,
Yeah, no, I was surprised, but I liked it.
yeah."
Man, this pay-per-view was really good. It really was. It really was a good show.
Did I get the time? Yeah, I said 13:30. Yeah.
13:30, like I said, I can't remember the ref's name. It's the short hair blondie, obviously not Charles Robinson. I don't know. I don't know his name. It's not somebody that it's not Neil Patrick. It's not, Jimmy Corderas. It's not Tim White. It's not.
It wasn't Hebner, obviously.
No, it wasn't
not,
Hebner.
no.
It was one of these other guys that I can't. There's 2 other guys from that era that I don't know their names. We'll find out hopefully for future look back.
Yes, definitely.
Placement, good. I went with good. To me, this could have, not that again we're going to jump all over, but
This could have been the buffer before the main.
no, this could have opened. I wouldn't have minded this just to open the show.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With Too Cool and the crowd getting into it, everybody's into the worm, and especially the fact they were going to win. You know what I mean? If that was the plan, obviously,
And then we get the dancing at the end. Yeah, this could have easily opened the show. I agree with you.
that's what I'm thinking, which I want to get to right now. So
This is aight.
was this?
Where does that go on the scale?
What's that?
It's aight.
It's
aight.
I guess.
It's like a 2. If I'm going like if it's like if there's 4 to pick from, it's like a 2. It's like the second one. It was alright.
Okay.
But that's only off of your point because this would have been a great opener.
I
now
think
that
so.
You mentioned it, like, that
Especially
would've-
because you had the I guess they were babyfaces at the time, obviously, right? Too Cool. So yeah, but not to say it was in a bad spot. I just think if you're gonna move it, putting it in the opener would have been fine.
The only thing I would have had to debate about that is that I wouldn't have wanted the Radicals to open the show. Like, I
No,
would want
you would.
Too Cool
Yeah, you would have wanted
yeah,
Too Cool
yeah.
for sure. No, and I totally agree with that. But yeah, so then we got the dancing with the sunglasses. Talk about this a little bit.
Yeah, so I feel like, well, everybody, listening is obviously well aware of Rikishi and Too Cool, with the yellows doing the dance after the match or in the middle of a Royal Rumble or something of that nature. This was, you know what, now that I remember it in just talking to you, it wasn't the birth of it, but it was definitely the very, very early stages of it.
Early days, because it wasn't a guarantee. He didn't just put the new yellow sunglasses on and start dancing.
Yeah.
They kind of had to coax him over and stop him from leaving the ring. And
And then,
hey, wait,
hey,
we just won. Put the glasses on. Let's do the dance.
I love Rikishi's reaction when he gets them on. Like, he just has a change of demeanor.
It was not that I want to get hung up on this or talk too much of it here,
Yeah.
but I wish we had more of that guy, that personality in the Usos. And I don't know if that's just them not being allowed to kind of show it, but I feel like they were either too, kid friendly in their first run, and then in their second run that they've done, too kind of wanting to be hard. I don't know. I just think if they let loose a little and had a little bit more fun, like this kind of stuff, I think it could really, especially with maybe their dad to be a manager. I don't know. I don't want to get hung up on that, but his sons, I think, could take something from this. Watching this era, watching this match, watching these, Too Cool.
Yeah. I think they do a good job of kind of getting out there. Like, I don't want to get hung up on it either.
No. Yeah. But yeah.
Rikishi, he just kind of, I don't know. I feel like he gets this different demeanor to him when he puts on the glasses.
Sorry to cut you off. What I was going to say, which I like, because it kind of shows like multiple personalities in a way too.
And we had the crowd clapping along, like getting totally into
doing
it.
the whole dance. And this is what I remember. Like I said, I don't remember much about Too Cool, but 3 of them dancing in the ring, and even more so Scotty and just Rikishi. I don't remember Grandmaster Flash as much as the other two. But yeah, this was a good match, and yeah, that was kind of the closing. There was the first time, or not first time, but one of the first times early dancing with the Usos. And then we got Mr. Kurt Angle once again. Kurt Angle. Kurt Angel. Celebrating, I don't know where he was at this point. If he was, what was he, walking around with both belts in the concessions again? That's somewhere in the
when
stadium.
he had the megaphone?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. This is when he had the megaphone. So they kept showing him all night. So, I don't know. I'll give him one of these because I just loved every freaking minute of it.
I know. It was good shit, man. Like, in between. It was nice.
Incredible.
I like that he's in a different place every time. Yeah, good shit.
We'll get to the next one. Alrighty, co-main event here.
Number 1 contender match.
Match number 8. The Big Show versus
The Rock. Crazy that we had another number 1 contender match on this show. I kind of like that. It's cool.
That's what you get when you get these pay-per-views leading into WrestleMania, my friend. That's what happens. Is we got to decide who number 1 contenders are.
It's true.
And if the Royal Rumble hasn't already decided that for us, or whatever the other thing is that we're doing pay-per-view or matches on Monday Night Raw or whatever, but I think that's a reason, I would imagine.
Yeah, so The Rock and the Big Show fighting it out. Obviously, we talked a little bit earlier about the whole, ending of the Rumble with a lot of controversy.
Do you want to explain a little bit of it? Or
Yeah.
Just kind of what happened and why this was a big deal.
Yeah, so we had the Royal Rumble of the year 2000. It came down to The Rock and the Big Show. And, Show was kind of coming to, I guess, clothesline Rock. Rock kind of pulled the rope down, did a flip over. They both were going over.
At the same time.
As they were going, The Rock's feet, I don't know, like...
It looked like to me the Rock's feet hit
it could have been
clearly.
It could have been one for sure. Like, we didn't get the bottom piece,
his
if you
feet,
noticed on all the footage. So it was like that. It was controversial, right?
For sure.
And then we had the Big Show hit the floor. Rock won the Rumble. He was acknowledged as the winner of the 2000 Royal Rumble. I think Big Show attacked him after, but yeah. And in the promo we seen
like in the months following up or the month I guess following Rumble leading into this. We were getting Big Show kind of trying to make his case
to Triple H,
to Triple H, to the WWF. I don't think they were called the WWF Universe at the time, but the WWF fans that he should be the one in the main event. Yeah. And why was he asking Triple H like Triple H was the GM of Monday Night Raw?
Well,
part shocked me.
So I can explain this. Because Stephanie and Triple H at this time was very much kind of in charge
Calling
in a
the
way
shots?
with having Stephanie by his side.
Okay.
So he had a lot of say. Plus, him being the champion has also pull, right?
In who he's going to be fighting. That makes sense too. No, and I didn't even I should have thought of it, but it didn't. Yeah, I didn't think about the whole Stephanie factor. That makes a lot of sense, obviously. Referee for this one, Earl Hebner.
Nice.
And
Good old Hebner.
well, we'll talk about. There was kind of two, but we'll talk about it later. And the placement. You want to get to it now?
Great.
Yeah, great to me. You can't really.
You can't go wrong with the number one contender match for the title. It's going to be in the main event right before it. Yeah, wouldn't want it anywhere else. Yeah.
No, and I really, really, really enjoyed, just to go, bring the point home, Big Show talking about this stuff and talking about making his case for the fact that he should have won the Rumble. I really enjoyed this. It's a story.
A good story. That's what I was just going to say. Another good story we had here.
All over this pay-per-view, man. I want to go back and see who was the writers and stuff and the the bookers and that kind of thing for this. Not that you can find out that information, but I don't know, whoever they were, good on you because you did a great job on this one. But yeah, the promo at the beginning was amazing.
I guess straight to the act, a lot of outside action in this match for sure. Like it was definitely heavily on the outside. Wasn't super long either. Again, this is another one for me that felt maybe a little bit longer than it was.
I thought it was going to be longer than it was.
Okay.
It didn't feel longer for me.
No?
No, but when we were, especially with how much time we knew was left in the pay-per-view at the time, I really thought this was going to be longer. So what was the time? You said
9 minutes and 33 seconds.
Wow. No, again, I would have thought it would have been at least double digits. Not like I'm saying, it should be, and I am the one who's but it felt at least, like I know I said it didn't feel long, but it felt like it was
10, 11 maybe.
It felt longer than 9 minutes, that's for sure. But Big Show, we'll start with this. The Big Show's pyro was great. Just the fact that he had...
Did you like the countdown that he did?
No, I think he got it in the ring. Like I think there was some sort of like a Shawn Michaels-y type...
No, but did you see him do the 3, 2, 1 and then he...
Oh, no. That I missed, clearly. So my bad. I just thought the fact that he got pyro in the ring was pretty cool. And then The Rock being 27 years old, which is the age that I am as of this recording, depending on when you're listening to this. But holy shit. And we talked about it earlier. Is 27 young? Is 25 young? Is it old? I don't know. I think it's young for being in the spot that he was at and everything he had done to this point in his career, in his life. So I don't know. I think it's more for me the fact that I'm realizing that The Rock, I'm now the same age as The Rock was in the year 2000. So it's, I don't know. It's crazy.
No, for sure. Dude.
One of those crazy things. But yeah, they got, you said that, I think they went outside the ring quick.
Yeah.
Right off the bat. And Big Show just showing the strength that he has all over this match.
At one point when he pressed The Rock up over his head.
Like he was a baby?
Yeah.
Like he lifted the rock above his head like I would lift, my brother when he was 4 years old and I would throw him on the couch and he would say, do it again.
And then he tossed him on the...
Except for The Rock wasn't saying do it again, But the fans there too, I was really noticing how, they're all pat his back, kind of trying to do the classic.
Yeah.
But I was just thinking about when I did that to Shinsuke the one time. And then the refs were letting them fight outside the ring. And you kind of made a comment to me.
Because they actually went they were over into the crowd area.
Yeah, on the other side of the barricade.
And the announcers kind of brought it up too, that, with the stakes, I've talked about it on previous lookbacks, I believe, like with the stakes being so high, number one contender, WrestleMania, leading into WrestleMania, Hebner was going to, let it go a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
The Rock fucking hit a nice clothesline, though, to get Big Show back over.
Yeah. I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
That was like in the corner. I think they were in the corner to, if you're looking at the announce table from the ring, it would be to the left of the announce table.
Yeah, I believe.
But yeah, so you were kind of making a point about the fact that they let them go because, no count out.
Yeah.
What was you had said,
high stakes.
High stakes.
Yeah.
That was, when you said that during the show, I'm like, I like that.
Yeah.
High stakes. But that's not something I think would fly now. I feel like they're too technical about some of the things that they would do. Yeah. And then my first reaction, it's funny. My first reaction when you said that, in my head I'm going, well, there's no high stakes in the video game. I wish I could fight outside the ring because I just remember being a kid and that being the most annoying shit. is getting counted out when you forget.
Yeah,
or
you gotta go settings and
turn the countouts to 20 like it's
only
New
for
Japan.
or just take them off for your high stakes.
That's true. That's a good point. This is a conversation we might have to have off air, Don.
Yeah.
How to play Be a Pro or Be a GM mode. Or whatever the fuck. What's it called? Be a GM? Something like that.
Was there? I don't know.
GM mode. I played the SmackDown versus Raw games. That was my era.
Good shit.
And then, okay, this was something that was just, again, and I know I'm doing it a lot in this, specifically in this match, but no mat change. And that is not something you see nowadays, because there was still blood on this mat from Taz.
Yeah.
3 matches ago.
Yeah, I guess.
No.
I didn't really pick up, like, yeah.
I noticed it as soon as I seen the blood. I'm like, I'm like, they didn't change the mat. Because I don't know if it's because I go to so many live events, but they change that mat almost every match. It must be 7 mats on that ring at the beginning of Monday Night Raw before you get to the main event, because they change that mat almost after every single match on Monday Night Raw.
That's crazy. I didn't really...
Whether it's no blood, sweat, nothing. They want... And I would imagine some of it is hygiene. Yeah. They want each mat to be clean for the next wrestlers and that sort of thing. But yeah, I don't know. This one was not changed.
I like a dirty mat.
The blood was still there from Taz. You heard it first here. Don likes a dirty mat. And then we get some ref action here. Do you want to help me explain this to the listeners? Because this was a bit of a clusterfuck. Not in a bad way. I just mean we had Hebner go down. And then we had Tim White came out to get the call. Yeah, and then they started fighting each other outside the ring.
Yeah, Tim White did the count, and then he got pulled out.
By Hebner. 1-2, pulled out by Hebner as if Hebner was, like a manager. Same sort of thing a manager would do.
Yep.
And then we get...
The
no
music
chance.
hits, yeah.
I wish I had.
The crowd went.
I don't have a clip for him. I wish I did.
Fucking crazy. Shane O'Mac. Shane O'Mac is back. Shane O'Mac coming down, and we weren't really too sure why at first, but the crowd was loving it.
I think I know why.
The crowd was loving it.
I think he wanted to get the title.
I am the game!
That's my theory.
What do you think?
Personally.
Sorry.
I think he wanted, what can I do to get that title off of Triple H? And I think he thought Big Show is the way that I get that title off of Triple H. So if I help Big Show win this match, then Big Show can help get that title off that guy that's with my sister.
That's a good theory. I like it.
I don't know if it's the truth. We'll find out more in the future, maybe. But or you can tell me now. I don't know. But that was kind of my theories for why Shane did that. But then Shane proceeds to run down the ring.
Yeah, he was
run down the ramp. Sorry.
So we had the chair get brought in by I think Show had brought the chair in originally.
But it was not a no holds barred or no DQ.
It wasn't,
so
but the refs were fighting, so they couldn't couldn't get at it. The Rock hits a nice rock bottom,
and he's
going for the elbow. He hits one rope, hits the next, and then Shane McMahon quickly
runs in there with the chair and chucks it at him. And I was comparing it to something else earlier in the night that we were talking about.
Bubba Dudley catching the 3D.
Catching the 3D, yes. And just the way he just chucks it, and he's just perfect.
And then out of there, And then we had that's really what it was to get Big Show the win. Yeah, the 1, 2, 3.
They hit them with the chair, 1, 2, 3. Shane McMahon celebrating a little bit with Big Show.
Yep, and The Rock looking pissed.
Very pissed.
Classic Rock, mouthing some stuff to the camera after. Just, motherfucker.
And Big Show wins, going to WrestleMania to fight. We'll find out in the main event. Yeah. But, crazy finish, good little match. And, I mean, we know what ended up happening, obviously, at WrestleMania, for anybody that doesn't know, with the whole McMahon in every corner stuff. So we see how the seeds of that were planted here in this match. But overall, it was another good one.
Solid co-main.
Co-main. Again, we gave all of our stuff, right? You gave us a time. 9 minutes. Placement we said was great. Yeah, and we gave you everything, all the information that we have been doing all night. In between that and the main event, we had Y2J attacking Kurt Angle.
The final Kirk
Angel segment of the night. And he was walking. He's like...
Going to his car and kind of...
walking to his car with his keys, twirling his keys. Ready to get into the car. He's singing his song. And then Jericho comes around. He pops the trunk open. I think he popped the trunk open first. Jericho comes around the corner with Chyna in some more great-looking gear.
The tracksuit.
the 90s purple Adidas tracksuit. I love it. And Jericho beats up Kurt Angle.
I love it. It was just a mugging. Like,
but he didn't do much. He kind of punched him a couple times in the head. He didn't touch the belt. I don't think he took the belt.
No.
And
China
then
was kicking him a little.
China was kicking him.
Like it was a mugging.
Exactly, yeah. Well, I'm just saying, when you say mugging, I'm thinking he's going to steal something, right? Yeah. And then he chucks him inside the trunk and smacks the trunk down. And the one thing I noticed was, I don't know if Kurt was like genuinely scared, but he was hitting that fucking trunk hard. Because you could see like, not dents, but like vibration of where his hand was exactly hitting on that trunk. So either it was just him, doing great acting, or it was him genuinely scared, saying, "Get me the fuck out of here."
One little piece that stands out to me, even from back in the day of this segment, is just Jericho, "You stupid son of a bitch," slamming on the trunk. Like that will forever be etched in my mind. Like I didn't forget about that moment when it was happening.
That might have to come onto the soundboard one of these days. We might have to work that in. But yeah, so that was pretty much it. That was, I don't know, China's purple gear. Great.
Nice.
Here we go. Main event time, buddy.
I wish we had that Hell in a Cell music for right now.
So do I. I don't have anything Hell in a Cell.
It's okay.
But I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, fucking, you know what time it is. Triple H versus Cactus Jack. Mic Foley.
Match number 9.
Big card, eh?
Long card. Yeah. I think we've typically 7.
Yeah,
is a normal, unless it's a extended overtime shift for WrestleMania. Yeah. But the referee Earl Hebner in this one, the WWE title match, like Donovan said, Triple H versus Cactus Jack, or better known as Mic Foley. Mm-hmm. What a story!
Yes,
and this all there was stuff that led up to this point. There's stuff that happened after this.
Yeah.
It was just, what did we talk about while we were watching it? We both kind of said that we think this is maybe, possibly the best time of Triple H and Mic Foley, of all the little rivalries that they've had over the years.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
This might be that time, like you said, between the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania 16 or WrestleMania 2000. This might have been that top era of those guys going at it.
So I want to ask you a quick question before we get into the nitty-gritty of this.
Of course.
Is
it about the Star Wars-y music that they played for the promo video? Because I loved that.
No, we'll get to that.
You've taken your first step into a larger world.
I really enjoyed that. But anyway.
Did you think that Foley should have won this?
Well, I don't know.
How did you feel about it? Like, with the crowd and just the story? Like, did you think he maybe should have won?
I honestly don't.
No.
And it's not because I love Triple H or I don't like Mic Foley. I just thought they told a really good story. Mm-hmm. Even right down, I think you said it when the pay-per-view was closing, and the kind of bloody face and Mic Foley looking back at the crowd. I would have bought back then that he was done.
Yeah.
Which is, I would imagine, what they were going for.
Yep.
I don't know if when they booked this match, they had the McMahon in every corner WrestleMania Fatal 4-Way match in the back pocket already, or was it something that slowly, you know what I mean? Who knows? Maybe at the time, I'm probably not, but maybe at the time, Triple H Big Show was the main event post No Way Out 2000, and then The Rock gets added in there and Mic Foley gets. I don't know. You know what I mean? They could have been having Rock fight Mic Foley at WrestleMania for all I know.
Yeah.
So, do I think? Or would I've rather wanted Mic Foley or Cactus Jack to win this match? I mean, it would have been cool, but no, not really. Because I think who wins the Fatal 4-Way at WrestleMania?
I almost don't want to.
I've seen it. I just forget.
Okay. I'm pretty sure that.
Does Triple H keep the title?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, then maybe I feel a little bit different about it, because I feel like if he were to lose the belt at WrestleMania, then yeah, this is worth it. This just makes, not that I thought Mic Foley won at WrestleMania, but this just makes his title run last a little longer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the meaningful moment of the babyface, whoever it is, whether it is Mic Foley or not, beating him, it just means more.
Yeah.
I think, at least that's kind of the way but overall, man, if I was going to tell somebody to go watch a Hell in a Cell match, I think this would be this is going to be in my top 3 every time.
Yeah.
Every time. Maybe even top 2. I'm debating. I mean, there's ones that are more famous, but I don't know if there's ones that have as much as this.
Yeah, I said it to you at the beginning that this is definitely, it's one that I in past had forgot about
Mhm.
almost, but it's definitely like one of the top Hell in the Cell matches.
It is.
for sure.
No, it definitely is. What about you? Why would you have rather seen Mick Foley kind of get the win here?
No, not that I would have rather seen him get the win, but it's just like there were moments throughout the match when I noticed that the crowd was like super, super into him, and I was just thinking, I was like, you know what, it would have been, and just going back, that's me knowing what happened the month before and the month after
Fair
as
enough.
well. Like
Yeah.
I was kind of thinking, like
I don't have that.
in another world, maybe like he could have won here. He could have won here. Because like he lost at the Rumble and put up a hell of a fight, and that was his style of matchup. And then this again was like his style of matchup.
Yeah.
And for him to lose again, and then even to go on at Mania, and then he still doesn't get it. It was like kind of I just had moments. Not saying that that's what I would have preferred. I love the way they told the story too. Like you brought up really good points as far as what happened at the end, but I could see a world where he could have won.
He could have won this.
The crowd really I think had me.
In a perfect world for me, he loses this match, but he wins at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
That's kind of if I could have chose, because then, like I said, it makes this loss okay. It makes it worth it.
Yeah, they had weird other plans at that time because
Afterwards.
even the way that Mania match unfolds, like it doesn't come down to Foley and Triple H. Like
No.
it goes into some other shit.
Yeah, which I shout out to our boy Shane, who's been on the show before. I watched it with him in the past. It's just been a while, and I mean, if we know me, my memory sometimes isn't the greatest. I feel like I forget some of the lookbacks we do.
You got the VHS tucked away there.
I
too.
do. That
Yeah.
I knew of, actually.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll throw it on later.
Nice.
I don't know. I think if we're going to throw on anything later, it's going to be that Raw after
Yep.
No Way Out. But let's get into it a
Let's-
little bit.
Yeah.
Triple H's music here, fucking incredible. This one's on my Spotify playlist.
My time. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it's called.
Yeah. For any listeners, we once upon a time did a theme show based.
You can
episode.
find it. It's on the feed if you're listening on iTunes, Spotify, Podbean. It's just not on the YouTube. You'd have to go to the Pro Wrestling LookBack YouTube channel for that. But it's there. Theme music. I want to say roundtable episode, I don't know, 40?
Yeah.
No,
Something
maybe
like that.
45, something like that. I'm not sure, but it's there.
It's there. Yeah. This was one of my favorite themes for sure. As far as Cactus Jack goes now. I like this theme too. I like the Cactus Jack character.
Can you explain a little bit more? Not necessarily who Cactus Jack is, because I know who Cactus Jack is from the ECW days and that sort of stuff. But I just was curious as to why specifically, not because I think it in a bad reason, but why he was going by the Cactus Jack name at this time. Why no Mankind? Why no Dude Love? Obviously, I think we know why no Mick Foley, because Mick Foley never really wrestled as Mick Foley till he came back and wrestled Edge. Am I correct?
Not exactly, but I'll get to that here.
Okay.
So, from what I can remember, because I know at their match a month before at the Royal Rumble, he was also Cactus Jack at the time.
Yes.
So I think that what was happening is that, during this feud with Triple H, he wanted to pull out one of his more, not to say that Mankind isn't like sadistic, but he wanted to pull out, I guess Cactus Jack is probably up there. Definitely.
Well,
is
that's to
one
me
of
the
more-
most, because that's the one that's the crazy one that wrestled in ECW, right?
So that's the thing.
far as
With
characters
the
go.
match at the Rumble being in the Garden, a famous place where
New
he
York.
wanted to be, and him fighting for the title, he wanted to pull that out. It was a street fight, and he pulled out that side of him, and that's the side of him that kind of stuck around for the rest of this rivalry.
So with that being said, just to pause what you're saying, was he not Cactus Jack prior to the Royal Rumble street fight? Was he
Like
going
before-
by
before
Mankind
the
or,
Rumble
or Dude
stuff?
Love?
You know what? That
too
part
far back.
kind of my memory. Yeah,
It's okay.
that part kind of slips, but I know as far as from the Rumble onward,
And that's when he started it.
yeah, from this Royal Rumble, No Way Out, he was Cactus Jack. And I always remember,
What about at Mania?
no, so this is the thing too, and this is the little, I don't know what the word, the word slips my mind, but this is like the hole in the story where the loophole. This is
Okay.
the loophole. The loophole is he loses this match and has to retire as
Cactus
Jack. So, Linda McMahon pulls him out as he fights as Mick Foley at WrestleMania.
At WrestleMania.
Yeah. So that's the
ba-
loophole.
the baby boy.
That's the whole loophole.
What did they say? What's
yeah,
the-
Mrs. Foley's baby
Mrs.
boy.
Foley's baby
Yeah.
boy. That's
So-
what JR always says. Okay.
Yeah, that's the loophole, which is cool too.
No, that's
Which
very
it
cool.
makes sense, right?
Because I was curious. I'm going, how
How do we get there?
Yeah, and I really kind of knew. I wasn't 100% sure. I mean, part of me thought maybe he could win the title here, but I don't ever remember seeing Foley with the title other than the one that we all know.
Yeah.
That'll put a lot of butts in the seats.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't remember that. So
Yes.
I don't know, I lost my train of thought a little bit there. But yeah, just the Cactus Jack. It's cool to find out that's where that came from.
Yeah. I've always that was one of the versions of Foley that I would like as a kid. I was like super curious about almost because it was like
You didn't see him all.
it's almost like a mythical you've told the stories of the Brock Lesnar in
Yeah,
the past, right?
yeah.
Like that's how I felt about Cactus Jack because like I heard of him and they always talked about the three faces of Foley, but I didn't see this version. Like I seen Dude Love, I seen Mankind, but I didn't really get to see Cactus Jack.
Live.
Yeah,
Wow.
until like
So when he was, and if you can't answer this, it's okay.
and
but
I love the shirt.
how
I always
long-
wanted that shirt.
that's one of the best shirts.
Yeah.
How long was he Mick Foley again? Do you remember? Was it for a bit?
After, well, no. So I think the Mania match, like he was done after that.
For a little while?
I think he was, yeah, he
Stopped
was done
wrestling
for a
for-
while, yeah. Because I don't think he was too active in the year of 2001 and
2002. Yeah, I guess you're right.
yeah, like the next time he probably popped back in was like when he fought Randy Orton. I want to say when Orton was like the Legend Killer, which would have been like what?
2004.
Yeah.
Right, which was before he won the championship.
Mhm.
Yeah, probably early 2004, if not late 2003.
Yeah,
But yeah, moving on, I guess more forward with this match here. Smaller cell than I remember as far as like the current cells. It's the one of those early cells that has the raised metal in the center of the top of it, if you know what I mean.
yep. What about the tons of locks around the door?
Like insane amount of chain link, yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't correct me if I'm wrong, but did they have those stupid fucking holes in the side of it, or were they just climbing?
Yeah, but there weren't as many.
There weren't as
and
many.
they weren't as really noticeable as they were in like future years of Hell in Cells. Yeah,
Yeah, just gets safer and safer and safer,
yeah.
which is,
a whole nother.
I guess we want people to be around longer, but
No, but you know what, man?
I want some
it's
risk,
hell
too.
in a cell.
yeah, and I want some risk.
Yeah, right.
Like, I mean, we do another show on here called the Formula One Look Back, and
Yeah.
there's guys taking risks on there all the time.
Yeah.
So it's not to say that people in 2020 can't take risks.
Mhm.
And I don't want to make that seem like the guys in WWE in 2020 aren't taking risks, because they are,
Mhm.
but just not quite to the extent that these guys back then were.
Yeah.
So, but it's all full circle, because I think you could say the same thing about 90s F1. So anyway, we'll keep going.
These guys were beating the shit out of each other.
Yeah.
Foley was trying to break out of the cage, kicking the door when early on. Stephanie's on the outside.
We didn't talk about, well, might as well quickly. How about Foley on SmackDown getting dragged away inside of a cage by Triple H in a bus?
With sparks flying.
And I said, I'm like, those are real sparks. That is metal grinding against concrete. Those are real sparks. That crazy. And then the on the Raw 7 days or 5 days prior to that,
Yeah.
we had Mick Foley putting the fucking steel pole through the front of Triple H and Stephanie's brand new bus. Stephanie talking about it being $350,000 bus.
Her
And
tour bus. Yeah.
that was $5,000 worth of damages.
That was good shit.
It was good. It was very good.
But yeah, it's like, dude, these guys were just beating the piss out of each other from the get-go, as they should have been too, right?
Yeah, it was a dope, gritty match, rough. Like I said, early Cell days, and Cactus just throwing himself around this fucking. I can't even get the words out. He was just putting his body on the line like
Yeah.
I've never seen.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously he's done other stuff in WCW, ECW, and even in the matches
Yeah.
with Undertaker and stuff. But I don't know, just incredible work by Cactus there to put his body on the line. And then what do we get? We get the stairs to the face.
Yeah, Triple H chucked the steps at fucking.
Literally threw them, like they left his hands.
That was fucked.
He threw them at him.
A lot of
Stephanie
impact
watching from afar, so happy.
Yeah.
Like cheerful as fuck.
Yeah.
Um,
Some good points here too.
there was a nice catapult by
yeah, that's what I wanted
Foley
to talk
or
about.
Cactus Jack, sorry, by Triple H onto the cage.
And that was what actually busted Triple H open. The catapult is what cut Triple H
Was
open.
it? And
Yeah.
then when he started grinding his face up against the cage, that kind of made it worse, because I
Yeah.
thought it was the grinding his face that busted him open, but obviously they
Yeah, no,
they both
it
happened
was the catapult,
simultaneously.
yeah.
So
Mhm.
yeah. And then we talked about, like, just going by my notes here, we talked about the height of the Triple H and Foley feud and how this kind of really just solidified their rivalry. The classic Foley jump from outside or the edge of the apron.
Yeah, with the chair.
With the chair to the outside of the ring, landing on that right hip. No wonder this guy's gotten hip replacement surgery 8 million times.
Yeah.
And then roughly, I think there was about 10 minutes left in the match at this point. I kind of made a note of that just because I could see it on the screen. The cage door. Well, there wasn't not the cage door, but
just the side of the
cage became ripped apart, and then Foley was like, yeah, and he ran at it
and threw himself through
the goddamn thing, hit it, and ripped it open, ripped his arm open.
Yeah, comes back in and he launched Triple H through after.
Threw it, and then they both ended up on the announce table. He tried to give Triple H a pile driver through the announce table. The announce table didn't break.
So there was no give. Yeah,
no give. You can hear JR. His head just bounced off the announce table. It was insane. And then they start to climb.
Well, we had Foley reaching for something here. He was looking around.
Oh yeah, you're right.
He pulled out
He pushed aside all the timekeepers and all the yes.
Yeah, what was the launch of it? He just threw that one timekeeper. Felt bad for that guy.
Same here. He chucked that guy hard. I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, and he pulled out the Barbie.
The barbed wire piece of 2x4 with barbed wire wrapped, or piece of 2x4 with barbed wire wrapped around it.
Fucking nailed Triple H with it too.
Yeah, he wire to the face. Bounced off his head, and then eventually they both started climbing to the top of the cell.
Yeah.
And, well, he didn't quite make it all the way up.
No.
Mic Foley kind of he made it 3/4 of the way, almost all the way up, halfway up.
Yeah.
Halfway up the top, you know what I mean? And, like, halfway, his body was halfway on the top, is what I meant.
And he made the mistake of, right before getting to the top, he threw the barbed wire up.
Stupid.
Which...
Not a good decision.
Triple H used then to grate against his forehead. And then I love this, because this is like some movie type shit.
Yep.
Where he grated it, and then Foley's still hanging on, and Triple H stomps on the hand. He's not going. Stomps on the hand again. He's not going.
Exactly like a movie.
Stomps on the hand again just for Foley to come crashing down.
Similar looking like the match with Undertaker and going through the table there. Maybe not quite as high, but still. Same idea, same thing. No crash pads underneath the goddamn table at that point. And then, so Triple H is looking down at him. I think we took a picture of that. We were both so in awe.
Yeah.
The face that Triple H made. Maybe I'll put that on the Instagram. I don't know. And then where were we from there?
Well, after we had Triple H just kind of looking down, Foley eventually starts to stir and get up and
chuck chairs.
Grabs a chair, about 5 times I think he tried.
They stopped showing it.
Yeah.
He threw 2 and they didn't make it, and then they started showing Triple H, and you could hear him still trying to throw chairs.
And you heard one, I think, hit like right in front of Lawler and them, and Lawler was talking to him, I'm okay. Like,
yeah. He's like, what the heck is this lunatic doing? Again, not that I want to talk about it too much, but just more shit that just wouldn't happen.
I love it.
You're not risking lawsuits. I love it too, but I just mean there's no way in today's day and age of 2020 and onward, you're risking the lawsuit of a chair landing on a kid or even a person's head, a person, let alone a kid's head.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Again, one of those things that would not happen in today's wrestling. But yeah, Foley went down, and then he's trying to get back up, throwing the chairs.
He eventually gave up on throwing the chair and just started to climb.
Thank God. And then he starts to climb back up Triple H had the 2x4 still, right?
Yeah, it was already up there, yeah.
I put pro wrestler in brackets. I don't know what the fuck I was trying to write there. Clearly, we're talking about pro wrestling. And then suplex on top of by that point, they're both on top of the cage, fighting it out a little bit.
Yeah. What about that one hole in the top corner of the cage?
Oh, yes. That was in the corner, I don't know, the right back side of your screen, I guess.
So if you fall through this, you're hitting outside of the ring.
Yeah, you're not
landing in the ring.
Realistically, if you fall through the wrong way, you're landing on the ring post.
Yeah, seriously.
You're fucking yourself up big time.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a risky spot for Triple H to be in with half his body kind of hanging down there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was but where was the 2x4 at this point? It was still up there, no?
It was still up there, yep.
And then we got that suplex that I talked about in the same corner. Triple H landed on there was a bar.
Yep.
Where his back landed on that bar, which was, I don't know, rough.
Triple H got some good shots in too with the 2x4, which kind of was ripping the flannel jacket off of
apart.
Foley. They were getting stuck on him.
And the barbed wire was coming off of the 2x4. Yeah. Visually, this match, like I said, this is Hell in a Cell. If you want to watch a good Hell in a Cell match, go watch this whole fucking pay-per-view. But this match was incredible.
Probably the best fight on top of the cell too. I gotta say.
Ever?
Yeah, I think so.
Really?
Yeah, even more so than.
Didn't like Randy Orton and Cena have some good ones?
No, this is the one.
Yeah, not that I think that they were better. I just was trying to think of another good one. Obviously, Undertaker Foley.
Undertaker Foley, but this one this was long. They were up there going at it. Like this was a good portion.
Oh yeah, good portion of the match. And then I don't know, did one of them have lighter fluid or was the thing soaked in lighter fluid?
Foley had something. He reached in his boot when he grabbed the lighter.
Because then we get the 2x4 with barbed wire lit on fire.
Love it.
And did he hit him with it? I don't know if he actually he hit him once or twice with it, and then he set it down, just on fire.
There. I love it. It's a great visual.
Yeah, just sitting on top of the cell on fire, piece of wood with barbed wire, no big deal.
And then I think we had Foley was going for the pile driver. He wanted to pile drive Triple H through the cell. He didn't probably care about both of them going through,
landing on their fucking ass,
going for the pile driver, and then we had.
And this was more or less in the middle of the ring at this point.
A huge moment in the match and of the night.
And if you've been listening to the whole show, not only do we thank you for listening to this entire show, but I'm sure you remember, some 2 hours ago at the beginning of this show, you heard a clip from JR.
Yeah.
And that was this moment right here.
Yeah. And so Mick Foley, Cactus Jack gets, flipped over, backdropped, falls right through the top of the cell, through the ring.
Yeah, right on his back. The ring breaks. I don't know how they planned that, if they did. I don't know if the ring broke on purpose or if it broke. I have no idea.
It's one of those things to this day that I still don't know, and I almost like that I don't know. I don't want it.
Of course, you don't want to see how the sausage gets made.
Yeah, I don't. In my mind, I don't think that was. I think because the way his hands are as he's falling, bro.
Yeah, man. He lands on his ass. He doesn't flat back.
Yeah. He's trying to get some give with his hands the way he's... So for any of the listeners who have watched this match, you know what I'm talking about. He's trying to get some give there, and he just flies right through the fucking ring.
Through the goddamn ring. And I mean, there's nothing else to happen at the rest of the night anyway. So, and how would you plan that? How would you... What are you going to tell the guys in this amazing 9-match pay-per-view to not use that corner of the ring?
Yeah.
We'd have to go back and watch the pay-per-view
and pay close attention
and pay very close attention to see who's using that, if you're watching on TV, the back left corner of the ring.
Yeah. And the look on Triple H's face here again, priceless. He's just looking down.
Insane. He's like, what should I do? Bro, I honestly, I don't know, again, this is bringing it back to the video game stuff, but I don't know if I played too many video games, but I kind of thought Triple H was going to hang and then drop himself in, monkey bar style, and then let go and land. And I'm like, no, that's not going to happen. He could pop an ankle out or twist a knee so easily. He's obviously going to go around the outside and come back in.
But he didn't. He climbed.
Oh, I missed that then.
So that piece, that flap that was hanging down.
Oh, he climbed down that side.
He climbed down that. Okay. And then dropped in.
Which is
an interesting way to do it.
And still pretty risky. Yeah. I can't believe I missed that. I'm going to have to go back and see that. So then he goes down and what did a JR said? It was amazing. It's basically elementary now. And just
pin the man.
Pin the man. It's elementary, meaning it's so simple you could go and just end this match right now.
And then Triple H just giving a kick to Foley's arm to kind of
see if he's alive.
If he's there. And then...
Bro, I've been watching a lot of hunting shows lately, and that is the first thing that every hunter does before they walk up to an animal after they've shot it is just poke it in the eye or move its arm and see if it's alive. So to see him do that and Foley start to move and then start to get up, and everyone's thinking, what the fuck?
He's still, I thought, at this point, I almost forgot what happened, and I thought for a second we were going to get thumbtacks. I did.
Really?
Yeah, for a second, I was like, are we getting...
You thought the tacks were getting
I thought the tacks
out.
were coming out again, yeah.
Shit. I kind of had a feeling that at that point, it was over.
Yeah.
Unless we got some run-in by Big Show or The Rock that I didn't know about.
Yeah.
I was expecting to see the pin, but I really, 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 really liked that he got up and that Triple H hit him with the pedigree, and that's
what put him away.
Yeah. I like that Triple H didn't just do that and then go down there and pin him. Yeah. It made a lot more sense. It completed the story.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said to you earlier, man, I really, I don't think I would have chose to have Mic Foley win this one. Or Cactus Jack. I think Triple H winning was perfect for the story of Cactus, especially everything you've told me with how he was able to come back and Linda and everything. So it all made sense. It was just an incredible fucking match. And then JR, man, like I said, JR's commentary in this show alone was incredible. But him at the end with the kick out Cactus, kick out Cactus. Like he believed that Cactus had a chance to win this match right up until the very last second that this match was taking place.
Yeah. It's crazy stuff. 23 minutes and 57 seconds.
Placement?
I mean,
outstanding.
Yeah.
I think it has to be.
Elementary as JR said,
exactly.
right?
That's the best. Yeah. The one thing we didn't talk about, I want to talk about quickly because we didn't mention it, was just how many Hell in a Cells had happened up until this point.
Yeah.
And this was the 6th one. Do you remember the ones from before?
So a couple of them were random. In my mind, I was telling you, I thought this was like the 4th.
Yeah. Well, it's not that different, but I hear you.
True. But I just forgot, like there was 2 on Raw, like a tag with Kane and Taker and Foley and Austin or something random. And then there was one with Foley and Kane as well in between, which were the ones that I forgot about.
Okay.
And the one with the Big Boss Man and Undertaker at WrestleMania. Obviously the first one with
Undertaker and Shawn Michaels.
And then we had Foley, Taker, and then so on and so forth. Yeah.
And then now we're at, 30-something you said we're at here in 2020?
Oh, yeah, like 38 or something like that.
So it's cool to see that, they were still treating this match like a big fucking deal. It was this was the demonic structure and all the promo videos, and it lived up to the hype.
Yeah.
This match was
definitely
incredible. Nothing else I think I can say other than amazing fucking match. Great pay-per-view as a whole, man. Yep. One of, like I said it at the beginning, one of, if not my favorite, that we've ever done on the Look Back show, including the former Pro Wrestling Look Back.
And maybe, me and you will probably look off the air about, I'd be curious to look at, or even maybe in the future when we look back at other shows right before Mania, I'm curious, where this falls, because I like the stories that happen here and leading into WrestleMania. Like, this might be one of the best before Mania
pay-per-view
shows.
I think, and I'm only saying this because I didn't know much about it before we decided to do the Look Back today, whenever, you guys are listening to this, but this is maybe one of the most underrated pay-per-views in the history of wrestling.
Really? Yeah.
In my opinion, man. For this to not be ever something that I've heard talked about as a whole pay-per-view to watch start to finish, we'll get to it in a minute, but I really think this was one of those pay-per-views that if you want to show somebody what the fuck wrestling is and what good can come out of it, I don't know how much better other than like a Shawn Michaels or a Shawn Michaels Kurt Angle match or a Kurt Angle Chris Benoit match or something like that, or even an Okada Kenny Omega match. Yeah. If you don't need those in your pro wrestling, then this is pro wrestling. Yeah. This show has everything from the Hardy tag matches to the Foley Hell in a Cells to Jericho. You got it at the beginning with Jericho, Kurt Angle, and the technical stuff. Yeah. You had your big guys going at it with Viscera and Mark Henry. Yeah. You had a 6-man tag with some guys that were in another company, as well as, established guys here. This pay-per-view had fucking
everything.
Everything you could want out of a pro wrestling pay-per-view. This one had. So I have to I don't know if I've done this, and I know you're about to say something, but this is for Donovan, because Donovan chose this pay-per-view. So the bar is set high for me to choose maybe the next one, but I think we talked about it already a little bit off air, but I don't know. Round of applause to you, Donovan, because you picked a good one as far as it was my choice to do pre-Mania. Yeah. But you picked everything else as far as No Way Out and the year 2000. So
loved
good pick,
man. And like I said it in the beginning, and I'm gonna say it again. I think that as we look back at more stuff in the 2000s era, dude, this year in general, I think we're gonna find more gems like this. Just stuff that you don't like. I always talk to you about that Fully Loaded. Yeah, like I want to watch, and I think there's just so many sleepers throughout this year. Like the whole year is very underrated, I think.
Absolutely. And I think a lot of it, as much as it may be a little thing, a lot of it has to do with people stepping up with guys like Stone Cold and Undertaker not being around. Not that The Rock isn't a big star or Big Show or Foley or Kurt Angle or any of these guys, but everybody collectively in the company, I think, stepped up.
Even the tags, right? They called it,
everything. It was because Undertaker and Stone Cold are kind of the guys that got you where you are at this time. You know what I mean? They're the ones that
big pieces of it. Yeah,
at least in my opinion, massive pieces of that puzzle that got them past WCW, like we mentioned, and into this awesome spot that they're at now. But yeah, all in all, it was pretty amazing. It's good to look back at the shows like we do, and I think anybody who's familiar with the show knows what's coming next.
Moments of the night.
Dun, dun,
Moments of the night.
dun, dun, dun.
Alrighty, the moments of the night. This is something that's been brought over from the Pro Wrestling Look Back into the Look Back podcast, and continuing with the Pro Wrestling Look Back show. A little Younger shout out in there too. Shout out to Younger. Good to hear his voice. Hopefully get you on a round table in the future there, brother. Moments of the night. These are our moments that we choose. We do this on every show we've ever done for the Pro Wrestling Look Back, and we do it now going forward on the Formula One Look Back show. So we don't have a cool jingle like we do here, though. I'm gonna have to get something for the guys over there.
Yeah.
But these are moments that we think about in the future. This is, whether it's 5 months, 5 minutes, 5 years, 5 days from now, what moments are gonna stick out to you when you think No Way Out, the year 2000, WWF No Way Out 2000? What are your moments of the night, Donovan? Normally we'll do an honorable mention and a 3, 2, 1. It's kind of up to you.
Yeah, I like it. I'm gonna give you what I got here, as much as I got, as always. You know how I do it.
Donovan can keep everything in his head. I need paper. He's got a skill that I don't have.
So, with the honorable mentions, with the honorable mentions, I got to give it to the Kurt Angle, Chris Jericho matchup. Just the matchup as a whole, because going into this, I talked about, I've watched this pay-per-view years ago, right? And I own a copy of it. I definitely remembered the Kurt Angle, Chris Jericho matchup I remember it being the opener. I remember the outcome. I remember the title. I remember most of the matchup. And as well as the main event and the co-main event. But as far as everything in between, that was kind of coming back as it was going on. So
that must have been cool.
The Kurt Angle Jericho match, man, because I remembered it, but I forgot. I enjoyed it. It was a great opener. More on the technical side as far as some of the stuff that we seen throughout the night.
Yep.
And on top of that, everything that happened with Kurt Angle throughout the night, leading into that, or following that as well, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
As far as the 3, 2, 1, I don't know if I have I'm gonna go 2. I got
go just 2. You mean?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I just didn't know what you meant.
So
that's fine.
Shane McMahon clocking the Rock as he's about to go for the elbow. That's something.
It's a memorable.
Even going into it, I told you, I remembered this happening. I didn't remember Shane McMahon getting the music and the huge pop from the crowd.
You said that. You just remembered him running out, no music.
So,
which I don't like him having the Vince music, but again, I didn't.
Oh, that happened for a while.
I didn't watch that, right?
Yeah.
So it's different.
Yeah. So that moment definitely a standout. Just him clocking the Rock, and that moment for sure. That's probably my second. And I mean, number one for me, I believe it's probably an obvious one, I think. It's just when Foley, goes through the fucking cell.
Yeah, absolutely.
And lands in the center of that ring, and the look on Triple H's face after, priceless.
Yeah, the look on Triple H's face alone could be one of the moments, I think, of the night.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, all good moments, Donovan. I love, this is one of my favorite things we do at the Look Back podcast is the moments of the night. So I'll get to mine here. The honorable mentions, I got a couple, as I always do. I don't have any negative ones tonight, but that kind of tells you that's how much I love this fucking pay-per-view. Because typically I will mix in a few negatives into the moments, because not always, moments aren't always good things.
Yep.
But tonight, honorable mentions, Too Cool dance at the end of the match.
That's a good one.
Incredible. I'm always going to remember that Rikishi putting on those yellow sunglasses. Another one is the China pyro gun.
Yeah.
Incredible. Again, I didn't expect to see her walk out with a fucking gun full of pyro and shoot it up almost to the ceiling. Super cool. Didn't expect that. And number 3, unfortunately, but I'm gonna remember it, is Taz getting cracked in the head with that fucking nightstick, man, and hearing that shit crack over his head. Just craziness.
Yeah.
So those are kind of honorable mention. Not gonna give them a number. They're kind of just there. Number 3. It's got to be Kurt Angle and just the celebrations all night.
Yeah.
And again, you want to ask me things I'm going to remember about this show, and it's, well, getting to see Kurt Angle 4 to maybe 5 times celebrating backstage. Yes, I know it ended with him getting beaten up and thrown in a trunk. That's why I want to watch Raw, too, to find out what happened to him.
That's kind of the beauty of it, too, no?
It's true. I love Kurt Angle's also my favorite wrestler of all time. So the beauty of it and seeing him get thrown in a trunk isn't my favorite thing. But still, that being said, the fact that they showed him all night, it was entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
It was cool for me to watch, and it made a big deal out of winning the IC belt.
Yep.
This guy was celebrating all night because he won the championship, and he's already a champion, like with the European.
Yeah.
So it's just solidifying the significance of winning that belt. Number 2, we're gonna have some similar ones here, Donovan. Number 2 is the Shane McMahon chair shot.
Yeah.
And in more specifically, less the run in. And more the way he did it. And he kind of threw it. It was like he chucked the chair at him when he was running. And I just thought that was really cool and unexpected too. Yeah. Like I said, and just the fact that he screwed over Rock too.
Yeah.
Like I didn't expect that, but I think going back to my point earlier, it probably has a lot to do with him not wanting Triple H to be champion, and who has the best chances of beating Triple H. And it's maybe he thought at the time it was Big Show. And number 1, it's similar to yours, but in a different kind of sense.
Yep.
My number 1 moment of the night is Mick Foley putting his body on the line. Not specifically the fall through the cage. Obviously, that is the ticker. It's the star. It's the underline of what I'm saying.
Yep.
But just everything, the throwing himself through the cage with the fucking bloody arm and jumping off the side of the cage, and his promos on Monday Night Raw, not that has anything to do with him putting his body on the line, but just his performance in the Raw, SmackDown, and pay-per-view that we watched here, No Way Out, are all things that just stand out to me. So maybe just Mick Foley's performance over the course of these 3 nights that I watched, more obviously this moment of the night being the pay-per-view. But yeah, just Mick Foley in general and what he did, the backdrop through the cage and everything he's ever done, really. Like I feel like if anything, this should be a little bit of a tribute to Mick Foley because goddamn, brother.
Cactus Jack,
Mick Foley. The last Cactus Jack match too, eh?
Yeah.
Or no, did he fight Edge as Cactus Jack, or he just dressed like Cactus Jack?
Maybe he just dressed like...
I think he just, I think that's... Because I don't think they referred to him as Cactus Jack ever again after this. But yeah, we'll get to the final thing we need to do of the night, unless you had anything else you wanted to get into.
No, I like your picks. I like it all.
Thank you. The Meltzers.
Yes.
This is like our version of the star rating. We're keeping this again, like I said, from the Pro Wrestling Lookback into the Pro Wrestling Lookback Show. This is basically no different than a star rating for out of 5. How many stars are you giving this pay-per-view? We just like to call them Meltzers because Meltzer created the stars, and I don't know. We like to be different. We don't want to just have star ratings. Everybody's got star ratings, so we just change it up. You want me to go first? You want you to go first?
You got this one first.
Well, I don't have a drum roll, but the first ever in the history of the Pro Wrestling LookBack Show, or the Pro Wrestling LookBack Podcast, and the LookBack Podcast in general, a 5-star pay-per-view from Nick, myself, doing it again, talking in third person.
we're gonna get a Booker drop on that,
but
5-time.
Yeah, I don't.
5-time.
We need one. I don't have one of those either. I don't have anything really. Here, this will work. I said the first ever 5-star Meltzer.
What?
You heard me. 5 Meltzers. So not stars. 5 Meltzer heads. Little Meltsies. Funny enough, you want to hear a funny little story? I was listening to a guy on a hunting podcast.
Yeah.
His name was Dave Meltzer, and he was getting interviewed by this hunter, and he's like a famous stuff for hunting.
Yeah.
And they were talking to him. They're like, "Oh yeah," like he's like, "I was looking you up, and I kept running into this pro wrestling writer, Dave Meltzer." And I was just me listening to that show. I'm like, "Wow, these guys have no fucking idea. Really have no idea." Not that I worship Dave Meltzer.
Yeah.
I just mean they have no idea how long he's been in the wrestling industry and the knowledge that he has. Yeah. Still, Wade Keller's the man.
5 Meltsies from Nick.
5 Meltsies, bro. Like I said, I can definitively, without a doubt, say that this is not only like my favorite pay-per-view that we've done in the 2 years that we've been watching look-backs and watching WWE and WWF, and I don't know if we've done a WCW one yet, but watching pay-per-views, this might be my favorite show we've ever recorded, and I'll have to find out when I go back and listen to it, but I can say as a whole, this has been one of my most enjoyable experiences since starting the Pro Wrestling Look Back and now the Look Back Podcast Network.
It's definitely a good one, man. Definitely a good one.
Super enjoyable.
For me, myself, it's up there. It's definitely up there.
Yeah, that's fine.
I am going to give it a solid 4 Meltsies.
Oh, that's still good.
Oh,
I don't know if there's ever been a show that you gave a 4 and I gave a 5, or even both of us gave that high of a number. I don't even think we've gotten
gave
2
a 5
4s.
on WrestleMania 17s, just to let people know where I set, and where you set the
That's
bar
fair.
on 5s.
That's fair.
And not to say that this show was, underwhelming at all, because to me, if I'm talking 3 or 3.5 is like,
And the fact that me and you have now spent 2 hours and 30 minutes and another 20 seconds talking about this show, it kind of says how much we enjoyed it.
Yeah, awesome show. Like I said, might be one of the best lead-ups into WrestleMania.
I don't think you get a better quote than that right there, Don. I think that's, like you said, we talked about it. I talked about it at the beginning. These pay-per-views leading into Mania, I'm going to turn you around. Fastlane's next. You never know. But this has been good, man. It's the Look Back Show is back. We're here. The Look Back Podcast rebranded. The Pro Wrestling Look Back Show. This is the first one we've done in a little while.
Yep.
So we hope all the listeners have enjoyed it. It's been No Way Out 2000. If you don't already, go hit us up on Instagram and Twitter at The Look Back Show on both of those. If you want to send us an email, it's thelookbackshow@gmail.com. If you want to go get yourself a t-shirt, mug, like I said at the beginning, maybe a flag by the time you listen to this, I don't know. And we got a new shirt on there with the ring. There's some Formula 1 Look Back stuff on there, but stick with the Pro Wrestling Look Back stuff when you're listening to this show. And hit up teespring.com/Pro Wrestling Look Back. That is the merch store. You can get all kinds of stuff there. If you're not already listening to the show on iTunes, Podbean, Spotify, Google Play, and or YouTube, go do that. Hit the 5 stars, subscribe. Leave us a comment, preferably a good one. Let us know how much you like the show. But hey, if you don't, let us know you don't like it either, because I want to know. We can fix things too, right? Things can always be tweaked. But leave us a good one. That's what we prefer. If you want to get at me on Twitter, it's at Salsa, SCELSA.
My Twitter is at JustDon44.
And like I always say, the main one, like I said a minute ago, at The Look Back Show. Get in contact with us there. Anything you need, DMs, PMs, championship lookbacks, roundtables, Formula 1 lookbacks, everything we do here at The Look Back Show. We thank you. I've been Nick. This is No Way Out 2000.
Kirk Angel, you stupid son of a bitch. Stay classy.